Hi, from my house sit in Lake Chapala, Mexico, with my house sitting client, Koja, who's here, but he's hiding. He's camera shy. Good morning, good morning. So, we're going to talk a little bit about house sitting, um, and I'm going to answer your questions. So, I called this Who Can House Sit? Spoiler alert, pretty much everyone can house sit, but I know people always have individual questions about house sitting and about if it'll work for them in their particular situation. And actually, I do have like a couple of types of people that house sitting won't work for. So we're going to talk about those things today. House sitting is real, it's not a scam. You get free accommodation wherever you can book a house sit anywhere in the world. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a year-round house sitter, and I'm the creator of House Sitter School. I help Black women take a sabbatical to travel on a budget. If that sounds good to you, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and make sure that you turn on notifications. Hit that notification bell and turn on notifications so that you'll be notified when I post a new video. Welcome. All right, welcome, friends. Okay, let's see who's here. Hi, Venus. Hi, S. Hughes. Good morning, Lena. Good morning, Justice. Good morning, Alexandria the Great. Good morning, Janella. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Talia Sanders. Good morning, Abba. Good morning, Venus. Talia, I don't know why I have to use your whole name, but I do. Good morning, Annabella. Good morning, Mo. Good morning, Dolores. For some of you, this is going to be like super repeat. So it's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't hang out with us all morning today. Some of you have heard me talk house sitting a lot, a lot. Okay. So it's okay if you don't hang out, but I'm glad you're here. Very nice to see you. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Kim. For some of you, you may have heard the talk before, but now you're ready. Right now you want to listen. Right now you want to get your questions answered. So welcome. Good morning, KB. So after I hit the go live button, I realized I pretty much don't iron. I'm like mostly a non-ironer, if that's a if that's a thing. But I would normally have ironed this for this morning. So you can, I don't know. I I feel like I need to let you know that I know that I'm very wrinkled. Most of the time I don't care, but there are certain things that I would iron, and this is one of those things. Good morning, Esther and Annie. Good morning, Numi. All right. So I'm house sitting in Lake Chapala, Mexico. I'm house sitting for a regular client who I booked through her snatching me off the street one day and seeing me and becoming my friend. And so I house sit for her a couple of times a year, a couple of months out of the year. But most of my house sits are booked through trusted house sitters. More half and half, I would say. I'm still booking about half of my house sits through trusted house sitters. Trusted house sitters is an online platform for people to get house sits. It's one of the it's the biggest, and it's one of the top three international. It's the biggest, and there are three international services. I don't know how I'm not saying that well, but you know what I'm saying. Trusted House Sitters is the big player in this game. Trusted House Sitters is the big guy. There are a couple of other international house sitting services too. Trusted House Sitters, Mind My House, and House Carers. You sign up with these services with a service. I've only been on Trusted House Sitters. They're the only one I've ever had to sign up with because once I got going on them, I could book house sits at will. So I never had to try another agency. But Trusted House Sitters, Mind My House, and House Carers, you sign up for them, you apply, people post house sits and you apply for those house sits. It's pretty simple. All right, so I'm gonna answer your question about I'm going to answer your questions about house sitting. Kim says I was raised right. I was raised by two super ironers, Kim. They iron everything. My mom irons clothes before they go in the suitcase. I don't understand. Sorry, Mom. Hi. I was raised by two super ironers. I can't tell you, it's like part of the regular conversation. Are you going to iron that? To me. When they see me, are you going to iron that? But I rebuke that. I don't. I don't want to iron stuff. I don't want to spend too much of my life ironing things, so I don't. All right. So let's talk a little bit about who makes a good house sitter. Most house sits are pet sits, okay? If you're opposed to pet sitting, you're going to have a difficult time getting started with house sitting, especially now. I say that because the pet sits that are not house sits, which do exist, are very long. And right now, you just find that people aren't traveling really long term because they just don't know, right? They just don't know what's going to happen next month or next, you know. So we don't have people taking off on 6 month trips at the same rate that we would have 2 years ago, this time 2019. And so most house sits are pet sits. And so if you're not into pets, house sitting is going to be difficult. Okay. But remember that not all pets are cats and dogs. I just saw a koi fish sit in Hawaii. Like literally, they have a koi fish pond. They're in Hawaii. They're going for a couple of weeks. They want someone to stay in their house and feed the koi fish, right? So not all pets are furry. Not all pets are cats and dogs. But if you really are opposed to pet sitting, house sitting is going to be difficult to get into, especially now. Maybe once the international travel barriers are opened back up after COVID, it'll be different. But that is absolutely important to know right now. Ah, Talia says, yeah, I understand not wanting to pay $100 for an iron. Yes, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But that's what they cost now. But due to COVID, I send my stuff to dry cleaners for $2.99. Oh, very smart. That might be one of the reasons that I really like Mexico, because I just drop my stuff off at the ladies. Now they don't iron it, but they fold it right out of the dryer, and they fold it, and I put it away, and it's not super wrinkled like at home when I leave it in the dryer for 8 hours. So that might be part of the reason that Mexico agrees with me, because for 30, 40, 50 pesos, you get your load of laundry washed, dried, folded, you know. So that might be one of the reasons Mexico appeals to me so much. Good morning, Miss J. You finally caught us. All right. Good morning, Spiritual Plant. Good morning, Faye. Good morning, Ujo. Good morning, Can I Work? Good morning, NW and Riri TV. Riri TV. Hi. Oh, Charisse. Hi. All right. So house sitting, if you're really, really opposed to pet sitting, house sitting is going to be difficult. You can do it, but it's going to be a challenge to book a house sit, okay? It's also difficult for people to house sit if you're not a person who trusts strangers, okay? And this is something that you can become. Yeah, this is a good. Let me get comfortable here. So, if you're a person who's always afraid of the stranger, right? Always afraid that other people are out to get you in some way, right? Are they out to kidnap me? Are they out to whatever? If you're always afraid of the stranger, house sitting is going to be hard because you're in a stranger's home, and a lot of times, surprisingly, more times than you would think, you're in their home with them, because they want you to come in the day before so they can show you everything and introduce you to their pets and all of that. You have to be in a home with a stranger, and then they leave, and you have to be willing to take care of their responsibilities for them while they're gone, and you have to stay in touch with them and everything. And then they come back, and sometimes you don't leave immediately. So you have to be okay with trusting strangers. If you're not okay with it, though, let me tell you, especially if you're American, if you're an African American person, a Black person in America, let's say this. If you're a Black person in America, you probably find that you don't trust strangers. But let me tell you, once you leave the country for a significant period of time, that can change. That can change. I was raised in Ohio. I'm from Delaware, but I was raised in Ohio in a very white school. And I just learned very young not to trust people, right? Don't trust them, right? You can seem friendly, you can be friendly with people, but don't trust them, because you never know. As soon as you turn your back, you never know. They're going to lie on you. They're going to tell people you did this and that, and you're going to get kicked off the school bus. You can tell. I still remember the little girl's name who lied on me and got me kicked off the school bus, and I'm pretty sure it was middle school, not high school. I remember her name and her family name and everything, her whole family, everyone in her family's name, right? So you learn early on not to trust strangers when you're Black in the U.S. Also, we just get messaging that the other is scary. We get messaging that other people are scary. As soon as you cross the border, you're in a territory of people who are just scary people. That's the messaging we get, and that's not anything new, right? We had a president recently who said that, but that's not a new message. That's absolutely not a new message. But let me tell you that strangers are probably on your side. Strangers are probably people who view themselves as part of a community. In Mexico, that's one of the things that I love here. People view themselves as part of a community. They don't view themselves as an individual, and you as an individual. We are a collective. We're in this thing together. And so you can learn to trust strangers, which is the wonderful thing about long-term travel away from the US. You can unlearn some stuff that is trauma related, and you can learn some stuff that is out of a place of wholeness. Okay? All right. So if you're afraid of the stranger, you need to clear that up before house sitting is going to be any fun for you. And if you're not into pets, it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna give you the third thing, and then we'll talk about who can house sit. The third thing that's gonna be difficult for you if you're not self-reliant, if you're not a person who can figure things out on your own or with the internet, house sitting is not gonna be the right choice for you. If you need someone to do everything for you and walk you through everything, house sitting is not going to be the right choice. I've had house sits where you show up and they drive me to the grocery store and show me the grocery store that they like the best. I've had that in the Netherlands and other places. You know, they take me to the dog park. They don't just tell me this is the dog park that he likes to go to. They take me to the dog park and, you know, I've had those experiences, but most of the time you show up in the house, you figure things out. They have a little bit of notes written down and you have to figure things out. The important stuff they explain. They explain the dog stuff, right? This is what he eats for breakfast. This is what he eats for dinner. This, you know, that kind of stuff is broken down. You don't know, how do I work this coffee maker? I have watched so many YouTube videos on how to work a specific type of coffee maker. I now am an expert at the French press. Thank you. I now can do that glass thing. I never can remember what it's called. That glass thing that you just put a filter in. I now know how to do that. I remember sitting there in the morning looking at that thing like, how am I going to get coffee? It's a glass. It looks like a vase. So how am I going to get coffee? Which is one of the reasons that I do sometimes travel with instant coffee with me. But not all the time. Sometimes, you know, I want to use their good, expensive coffee. I'm staying in their house. They said, make myself comfortable. I want to use their good stuff. So you have to be a person who can figure things out. If you need someone to do things for you, be honest with yourself. If you need someone to do a lot of things for you, and, you know, you just can't figure it out, it's probably not going to work, right? Or, good news, you can house sit with someone. Get yourself a house sitting buddy. House sitting bunny. Get yourself a house sitting buddy. Get someone. There's intergenerational house sitting is a thing. There are mothers who are baby boomers and daughters who are Gen X who house sit together, or whatever, friends or whoever, partners, spouses, mother, child, where the child is a child. That's a thing. It's a thing and people like it. So if you feel like you're going to need some extra support to house sit, you're not going to get that extra support from the client. They're busy, they're living their life, they're living their travel dreams. You need to get that extra support from another person, or you need to just say, house sitting is not going to work for me. Okay? All right. Hello, traveling huntress. It's very true. A lot of things, I talk about this video all the time. Rashida Dow, who is Sheeta's on the Loose here on YouTube. Rashida Dow and I got together and we interviewed 12 Black women who had taken a career break to travel. It's called 12 Days of Career Breaks. Great series of videos, watch them, okay? So in the 12 Days of Career Breaks videos, we interviewed JC, and she said, what did she say? She said, I learned how much of me was not really me, was just like affectations that I had put on to survive my current environment, right? How much of herself, the things that she thought made up her personality were actually just things that she had to start doing to protect herself to survive her environment. And when she moved to another environment, she no longer needed to protect herself in that way, and she no longer needed to be that exact person. Happened to me. I like talking to strangers, I really do. And nobody would have ever guessed that years ago. Nobody, anybody who's ever worked with me knows that. I didn't like talking to strangers. Don't ask me any questions. I was actually a person who people would joke. If you had to ask me a question, people would joke about it. Oh my gosh, Stephanie, they have to go ask Stephanie a question. I had a cup when I worked at a bank. Part of my job was to answer new people's questions. I was like not a facilitator. I forget what my title was, but part of my job was to answer the new people's questions to help them while they were in training. I had a cup on my desk and I would charge them to ask me a question because I didn't like answering questions. Well, now what do? I go live on YouTube every Saturday morning and I answer questions. Who you are in this environment could be a totally different person in another environment. Okay, that is exactly why I talk so much about leaving the country. That's it. That is why. Because I don't know if you can be the fullness of you when you're in a trauma situation, which is what Black people are in the United States. But that's not what we came to talk about. Okay, we came here to talk about house sitting. But hey, Juncat, my partner has hitchhiked outside the U.S. and picked up hitchhikers. I have hitchhiked in the Philippines. I drowned my iPhone in the Philippines and I wanted to go buy another one. I needed to go from one town to the next, not the next, but from one town to another town on the island of Palawan. And their travel plan for me, like I went to the bus station, they took me from one point to the next and they're like, okay, now to get back to your hotel, you just wait here with your bag and tell someone where you're going and they will pick you up. They could only take me from one place to the next. They couldn't take me on this road down to my hotel. And at that time, I had a big bag. This was like month 2 or 3 of maybe month 4 of my gap year. And I had the bag was too big, right? It was ridiculous. Anyway, so I just stood there and people would stop in the Philippines. The people in the Philippines are the people that you work with in the US from the Philippines, right? If you've ever worked with Filipino people, they're the same people. Some people are different, right? When they get to the U.S., they become a different group of people. We've talked about the Irish, how the Irish in Ireland are good people, the Irish in the U.S., not good people, right? Not to us, not good to us, right? But in the Philippines, they're the same people. So people would just stop and ask me where I was going. And then somebody's going they're not going this way, but just wait, someone will come by. A kid came by on a motorbike. And he was like, I can do it. And I was like, I have this huge bag. But he wanted it. He wanted to take me because he wanted me to tip him. So we tried it. And I had to, he's on the bike. I'm behind him on the bike. And I'm trying to hold him. I'm not small. So I'm trying to hold my bag in my lap. But I'm like off the back of the bike. And it was not good. So then I stopped and I got off. I paid him a little bit of money. And then a van actually came by and they picked me up. Right. So I've hitchhiked in the Philippines. I would never do that in the U.S. Never, ever, never, ever, ever. Not even where I live, not even in my own city, my own town. Yes. So if you're a person who doesn't trust people, here's how we got on this topic if you're new. If you are a person who doesn't naturally trust people, you can learn that. Right. Or maybe unlearn. It's an unlearning. You can unlearn that. Just leave the country. Like for real. Leave the country. All right. I'm supposed to be answering questions. Okay, so what are your house sitting questions? I like the idea of a house sitting buddy. Katrina, it's super popular. It's really popular. Yeah. Yeah, so find somebody. So there are 2 different ways to do it. Trusted House Sitters recommends that that any adult has a profile with them. Okay, so this is the legit way. I normally don't tell you the backdoor way to do things, but I'm gonna tell you the backdoor way also. But the legit way is that you both get a house sitting profile. And then one of you applies for the house sit, and then you tell them, I house sit with this person, and you can kind of link your profiles, I'm house sitting with this person. So like I would get my mom a profile, and I'm the one with the reviews. So I would apply for the house sit, and I would say, I house sit with my mom, blah, blah, blah. Good to go. Now, the backdoor way, Trusted House Sitters does sometimes watch my videos when I put house sitting in the title. So y'all don't be mad at me. But the backdoor way is that one of them has a profile and they just say, hey, I house sit with my mom, right? Or I house sit with this person. I think you're probably more likely, especially when you're new, I think you're more likely to get approved if you both have a profile. Okay, because as a house sitting client, right, if you were coming to my home, if I had a home, I would say, I don't know, right? I need them both to at least have a profile, right? I need to see who this other person is. But some people do it. Some people do it, no problem. I tell all the time, I house sat in Oakland, in the Oakland Hills. I house sat for a mother-daughter team who went to house sit in Greece on an island together. Yeah, get yourself a house sitting buddy. Yeah, live it up, live it up. Always tell the client exactly what's happening. Never try to sneak something in. I would never try to sneak another person on a house sit. But if they agree to my mom coming to the house sit with me, we're good to go, you know? But never ever sneak anyone in there. You're not going to fare well. That's not going to go well for you. The people know what's happening, right? That's not going to go for you. Everyone has neighbors and, so that's not going to work. I would never try to sneak anything in, but definitely get yourself a house sitting partner and house sit with them. Could be a spouse, could be a child, right? People do house sit with children. People ask me this, and I saw it, so I can't scroll back to find it. But I did see that. What about house sitting with a single mom? Let me see if I can see it. I'm sorry. I did see your comment, but I can't see it anymore. What about single moms? Yes. Yes. Yeah. There are people, right? People who have kids and they're leaving their home and they're like, why not? I'm not anti-kid. I'm not opposed to children being in the home. Some people will say no, my dog doesn't like kids or whatever, or my carpet is new or whatever. Some people will say no, but someone will say yes. All right, Lena. Do you have to pay to become a house sitter? Yes. All of the house sitting services have a fee. Trusted House Sitters has tiered pricing now, and we talked about that a little bit last Saturday. Trusted House Sitters has tiered pricing. I think house carers and Mind My House still just have an annual flat fee. Yes, you have to pay somewhere around $125, $150 at the minimum to join to join a house sitting service. It's because you're being insured. If you burn down the house or whatever, you're being insured. And it's also because you don't have to go out and find house sitting clients on your own. They're right there. You just log on and there are clients right there. You don't have to go out and search for people to house sit for, right? So you can become a house sitter and not join these services. You can just advertise your services. You can go to like Facebook groups and be like, hey, I'm a house sitter in your town, right? I don't do that because I don't want to house sit for people who I can't read any review on. I want someone to have already house sat for them and I want to have a review. I want to know for real. Is this, a good house sit? Am I going to be comfortable in the house? Am I going to like it? Is the pet a total jerk? So I don't like to house sit for people who don't have reviews. So that's why I don't advertise my services outside of those platforms. But it can be done. But yes, it's worth the money. So we're talking at the cheapest trusted house sitters. Kojo, the dog is Kojo is the boss of things. And I'm just here hanging out. I got to move a little bit because he's making himself comfortable. He's over here making himself comfortable and making me uncomfortable. All right. So I was saying, I book house sits through the platforms, and then those house sits sometimes turn into word of mouth house sits with other clients. What was I saying? I don't book house sits for people who don't have reviews. Oh, so the fee, we're talking let's say the $150 fee, right? Tier, $150 pricing. Basically, if you can get a 3-day house sit, it's like paying $50 a night to stay in a place where you want to go. Let's say you book a house sit in Greece, right? $50 a night. If anything you book over top of that, free, right? Like I seriously have had a year where where I house sat for 11 out of 12 months for a year. That was 2019. I'm going to go with 2018. Might have been 2019, where I house sat for 11 months straight on my one membership, right? On that $120 something membership. I house sat for 11 months. Okay, so it depends on how much time you have and how much time you know you can house sit. But look at it that way. If you know you have like 6 days out of an entire calendar year where you would be available to house sit someplace, then boom, it's worth the money. So yes, you have to pay to become a house sitter through those services. It's worth the money because you get reviews from other house sitters. You get insurance in case something happens. You start a fire, the dog gets hit, something bad. I shouldn't start naming bad things, but in case something happens, you're protected when you are on these sites. Okay. There, you're the same person who asked that. Okay, Lena. Yes, to single moms as well. Yes. Um, if you're here in the chat and you're a single mom or anyone, if you're here in the chat and you have house sit, say hi. Please let us know if you've house sat and what your, like, do you have a specific situation? Did you house sit with a spouse or partner? Did you house sit with children? Whatever. Jay, hey Miss Jay, is this a specific brand name of the coffee maker? I know what you're talking about, the thing, but it has a specific brand name. This was a swanky house. They had an audio system. He spent probably 20 minutes explaining how to work the audio system in the house. And that carafe thing, there is a specific brand name for the carafe, right? That's how I had to look it up to find out how to use it, the coffee maker. All right. So true. Okay, I'm scrolling. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling through the chat. Chemex. That's it. Jamae, Chemex. Yeah, I had to look it up. I was looking at that thing like, how am I supposed to get coffee from this thing? Your 10-year-old is good. So Lena, what you do is you in your profile, you make sure that you have pictures of you and your 10-year-old together. Make sure that you have pictures of y'all looking smiley and happy. If you have pictures of y'all with an animal, even better, like with a pet or whatever, an animal, even better. Yeah, and you just let them know I have a 10-year-old. When you get someone to write your letter of reference, try to find someone who can also speak to your 10-year-old's awesomeness, right? Lene, I'm sorry, I said Lena and Lene. I've said it both ways. I'm going to go with Lene. If it's not Lene, correct me. So Lene, so you want a letter that's like, Lene is amazing. She's trustworthy. I needed her to do X for me one time and she did it. She's very helpful. And her 10-year-old is super amazing, a wonderful kid, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so you want to make sure that your letters of reference or letter of reference and your profile speak to the fact that you will be house sitting with your 10-year-old. Like anything else, some people will be a no and some people will be a yes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, good, Abba. A friend of mine in Dallas decided we are going to team up and house sit. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. Good. Do it. Do it. Okay, so house sitting is bouncing back. I've looked at trusted house sitters for like every couple of hours for the last few days. When I'm looking to book a house sit, I look a lot. Even though I have an alert set up on my phone for specific locations, I look just in case something that I wasn't even thinking about pops up. And man, people are back to traveling. People are back. I don't know if that's good or bad, but people are back to taking vacations and needing house sitters. House sitting is back. So good. Do it. Do it. All right. Good morning, Michaela. I've stopped. I haven't gotten all the good mornings in. Good morning, Teresa. All right. Do you have to be in the house all day while house sitting? Every house sit is different. Okay. Every client request is different. There, you are going to see when you get on the site. I can tell my eyebrows look different in the camera. You're going to see on the site that there will be house sits where they're like, you need to stay home with this dog, or like this puppy needs to go out every 2 hours to use the potty, right? Every 2 hours. You'll see some of those. I don't take those. I don't even apply for those. You'll see some where they're like, we've been home with the cat all day for the last year and a half. We would like a house sitter who's going to plan to be in the house most of the time. You decide if you're down with that or not. If you're not down with it, don't apply for that house sit. Most of them don't care. Most people know that you're in town to experience that new place. And, they just want to make sure that the pet is fed and gets out to the bathroom and is not, scared at night sleeping alone. Kojo, I'm sitting on am I on your tail? Move. If you would move. Thank you. We're friends. We really are friends. so, so, um, so, it varies. You decide, right? If they have some requirements that you're not down with, you don't apply for that house sit. I have never done a house sit where they expected me to be in the house all the time. I'm a homebody. I'm a hermit. So I am in the house most of the time, but I'm free to go out if I so choose. And then there are lots of houses where they're like, okay, and here are the restaurants that you can take her to, take the pet with you. I just house sat in San Miguel de Allende, and there were two little dogs, and she was like, okay, and these are the restaurants that they like to go to, and I take them. I'm like, fine. Y'all want to go out to eat? We going out to eat. Kojo and Sophie go everywhere. These two dogs, they go everywhere. We ride around in a golf cart. My client / friend lets me use her golf cart and her car. And mostly we go around in the golf cart and they come with me, right? So if I want to be gone a long time, I just take them with me. But that's the answer, Tashi. It's whatever they say, right? It's whatever they say, and then you decide if you're down with that or not. Most of the people, though, understand that you're not going to be home all day, and they don't expect it. Is there any age that's too old to house sit? Hi, Joanne. Lots and lots of house sitters are retirement age and like super retirees, which I would call people like over 80, right? Because retirees are 65, retirees are, but there are lots of house sitters over 80. Sometimes you'll see a house sitting posting where they'll say specifically, we would prefer a house sitter who is able to move around a little more, right? Because a lot of house sitters are seniors, super senior citizens. Somebody said the other day, don't call old people old, but they are old. There are old people. There are old people and there are young people. Lord willing, I will be an old person one day. So anyway, a lot of house sitters are retirement age and super retirement age. So don't let that discourage you. It's very common. I would say most house sitters are retirement age. I would say, yeah. So that's good. And then listings will say how active they want the person to be. That's like their code word for, this one's probably not for you, Grandma. But it depends on you and your abilities. You and your abilities, which house sits you want to take. All right. Welcome, Angie. Angie says she's new and she's been binging videos. Welcome. We're glad you're here. All right. All right. So Beverly says she has to house sit without pets. Then what you have to do, Beverly, it's not easy. I'm not going to sell you like a dream. It's not easy to house sit without pets when you're brand new. Okay, what you're going to have to do is you are going to need to set alerts for every place that you want to house sit and for every block of time. And you are going to need to be the very first person to apply for these house sits that pop up with no pets. Okay, like it's really important to be first for everyone, or one of the first for any house sit that you see that looks good, because some people are just going to pick the first person that looks good. They're not going to read a bunch of applications and all of that. So it's always important to be early. But if you want no pets, those house sits are in super high demand. You're also just going to have to be available for large blocks of time. You're not going to find 4-day, 10-day house sits that are no pets. Okay, for the people to want a house sitter in their home, it's because they want their plants taken care of, and plants can go for 10 days, So you're going to have to be available for 3-month-long house sits in places. If you're available for long house sits and you're able to get on it, right, apply for house sits when they first pop up and be fast and not take 2, 3, 4 hours. I mean, like hours is a difference maker. If it's not going to take you 2, 3, 4 hours to decide if you even want to apply for a house sit, then it's possible. It's possible, but it's an uphill battle. That's another thing, I think. When house sits pop up, when a good house sit pops up, it takes me about 5 minutes or less to have applied for the house sit, right? Within 5 minutes, I have Googled that town or city to see just a picture of what it looks like if it's a place I've never seen before, like I did that here with Lake Chapala the first time. I've Googled, looked at some quick pictures. I have done a quick flight search to see what it's going to cost me to get there because house sitters have to pay for their transportation. What do? I look at the place. I do a quick search at their search of the flight prices. I of course read the full listing. Some listings are really short and brief, and some listings are very detailed. I've read the reviews that they have, and I've copied and pasted my template letter into their thing and fixed it and adjusted it and sent my application for their house sit within 5 minutes of alerts. Like I have people say, "Oh my gosh, I just hit enter. How did you do that?" I'm like, "I want this house sit." I did what I had to do to get this particular house sit. So that's even more important when you are brand new. That's even more important when you want to house sit for people with no pets. Okay, so be early, be fast. The new house sitter tool, I have the actual email that I send to people. It's like a message on Trusted House Sitters. The actual message that I send to people is on the new house sitter toolkit. You just need to fill in the blanks, right? And adjust it. Make it sound like you. The letter does sound like me. I'm like, "Oh, your pet is so adorable, and I like to cuddle, and cuddle. I will cuddle your cat on demand. So you need to make the letter sound like you, but then copy that and keep it somewhere so that you can paste it when you're ready to go. Okay? When you're ready to go, you just copy and paste. Change the city name, change their name, change the dates, change the pets' names, but then you're ready to go. So get that new house sitter toolkit at housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. There is the link to Trusted House Sitters, which is my affiliate link. So if you join Trusted House Sitters, they give me a little change. Thank you. There's that letter. And then there are some things that I use just to be comfortable while I'm house sitting. Some food delivery stuff, the phone SIM card that I use to have phone service in over 100 countries with Google Fi. There's a coupon for Google Fi's SIM card in the new house sitter toolkit. So snatch up your toolkit so that when you're ready to get on Trusted House Sitters, you'll be ready to get on Trusted House Sitters. You'll have your letter and all of that. All right. We haven't talked much about people needing a house sitter. So you can house sit and bring in a house sitter, right? If you want to go somewhere, I see comments about someone has a pit bull. You can bring in a house sitter so that you can go house sit someplace else, right? House sitting is a way for people to live their travel dreams. I, as a house sitter, help people live their travel dreams. If you have some travel dreams and you want to go someplace, you can house sit and bring in a house sitter. Trusted House Sitters has a combined membership. So they have an individual membership for house sitting clients. They have an individual membership for house sitters, or they have a combined membership where you're a client and a sitter. And I house sit for people who are house sitters. Right, I told you about the mother-daughter who went to Greece, and then I've house sat multiple times for a family here near Lake Chapala who goes and house sits. Sometimes they take little Ruby with them, and sometimes Ruby can't go, and I come and stay with them and house sit. So house sitting works in both directions. So don't forget that. Is there a large demand for house sitting? Do you think the demand will increase or decrease with trying to get back to our new normal? I think demand is only going to increase, but I do think that it'll be a while before we'll see a lot of long-term house sits pop up. Used to be pretty common to see 2, 3, 4 month house sits on Trusted House Sitters because people in Europe get a lot of time to travel. They have a lot of free time, a lot of vacation time to travel. So it used to not be too rare to see a 2-month, 4-month, 6-month house sit on Trusted House Sitters. I think it may be a while before those bounce back. But yes, there's a demand for house sitting. There are places where house sitting is in higher demand than others. So let's talk about that. So the highest demand place for house sitting is the UK. The UK, for some reason, they are the champions of bringing in a house sitter. I guess a combination of, they have a lot of pets. They seem to have a lot of pets per person in the UK, and they have a lot of people in the UK have a second home. I don't know about a lot, but some people in the UK have a home in Spain or Portugal or somewhere. Malta, they seem to love Malta lately. They have a second home that they want to get to, and they just get a lot of time to travel. Europeans in general get a good amount of travel time. Their work, we're not talking about 2 weeks of vacation. I have a family member who had been at her job for 18 years, and she said she got 2 weeks of vacation still. Like, that's abuse. Your employer is abusing you. That's abuse. Like, you know, that's not a thing in Europe. That's not a thing in Europe. So house sitting is super popular in the UK, Europe in general, but definitely in the UK. I say all the time, you could go to London for months and months and never have to pay for a place to stay by house sitting. House sitting is popular in Canada during the winter. Canadians are great snowbirds. They love to go away for the winter. Or any time of the year, but it's super popular in the winter. House sitting is popular in Australia. As much as I bash Australia, Australia is another country where you could go and not have to pay for accommodation for long blocks of time. They also have lots of vacation time, and their Australian dollars go very far in the rest of the world, so they love to travel for long stretches of time. Um, yeah. Okay. And then house sitting, of course, is popular in the US. It used to be only popular in bigger cities, the New York and DC, San Francisco and LA. But now I see, like, there are always house sits in and around Atlanta. There are always house sits in and around Asheville, North Carolina for some reason. Yeah, Austin has become a house sitting, an easy place to house sit. And I guess Dallas, Austin, like that whole area. To me, that's one area. I know they're hours apart. Texas is grande. Texas is big, but you know what I'm talking about. Um, yeah. So, but those are the places where house sitting is most popular. Mexico, even, and then I'm gonna say Mexico, but Mexico house sits. Yeah, Mexico. Mexico house sits are largely in the areas that have a lot of American and Canadian retirees, like here in Lake Chapala and like San Miguel de Allende, where I just left a house sit. Um, so that was a long answer for you, Ms. Janae. Yes, large demand. I think it's fair to say there is a large demand for house sitting. I think that the demand will increase. Combination of everybody wants to go somewhere soon, right? We've been home for 2 years. Everybody wants to go somewhere soon, or a year and change. Lots of people have pets, and I think the more people, yeah, I think that it's like a wheel that drives itself. The more people need a house sitter, the more people become house sitters. I don't think that we're risking like demand drying up because there are too many house sitters. Because more house sitters also equals more house sitting clients. When more people know about it, more people join the service as a client or as a sitter. So I'm all in on it, as you can tell. I'm all in on house sitting. Pros and cons video. I feel like feeling unstable sometimes being in new homes. We can. Now, I am not the best at cons. When people ask me for like feedback on something, I'm like, I don't know, because I think it's great. Everything is great. And they're like, well, what about this and that? And I'm like, oh yeah, that was a problem. So this is not my strong suit. So we'll have to bring on another house sitter to talk about that. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I have a disposition that makes things, oh, it was great, and then, yeah. So cons are not the best. So we did start off talking about the 3 types of people who are going to struggle with house sitting. People who don't trust people who don't trust strangers, people who are not self-reliant, and the first one was people who, what did we say, y'all? People who don't trust people who are not self-reliant. Oh, people who absolutely don't want to pet sit. Okay, so it's house sitting, right? Yeah, we can, but I mean, I slip in some cons now and then, but I really don't have a good list of cons. If you're not in that group and you're comfortable being in strangers' homes, like, what's the con? Somebody, you're gonna have to tell me what the con is. What's the negative? What's the downside? You're in someone else's home, and so There's that, but I would assume their home is cleaner than a hotel. Like right now, I think the housekeeper comes today, Veronica. She comes on Saturdays. I was left some pesos to pay her, but it was dated for next Saturday, so that may mean she doesn't come this Saturday. So there's pesos to pay her. So there's a housekeeper here. Like, what's the con? Like, I'm so serious. I'm not kidding. I'm not Yoga Bliss Dance. I know you've told me your first name before, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. Yoga Bliss Dance is a YouTuber. Um, like for real, like for real. If you're a person who is not afraid of the stranger, what's the con? And you're a friend of animals, which I'm a friend of animals. I'm a friend of pets. Like, what's the con? Because the idea of feeling unstable, you did say like feeling unstable sometimes. House sitting, you don't have to be a full-time house sitter to house sit. So not everyone, you're not going to feel unstable. You know, some people are just going to house sit on their summer. If you're a teacher and you want to house sit on your summer break, you know, you're not going to feel that. I don't feel it, but I have a natural, I'm good with change. Are there house sitting opportunities in the USA? Yes, Gina. Do you want to tell us where in the USA you would like to go? I would say it's usually easier to start locally, wherever you are, especially if you're in one of those places that I named, especially if you're in or around New York, DC, Atlanta, LA, San Francisco, Texas, Dallas, Austin. It's easiest to get started locally. Even if you're not in one of those areas, look around. If something pops up, take it. Grab it. It's always easiest for that, because then the client doesn't have to worry about, are you going to be able to get here, you know? And you don't have any reviews yet, and it's just easier to start locally as possible. So yes, look at trustedhousesitters.com. So I'm going to drop my straight affiliate link here, if I can get to it in just a second. But look at Trusted House Sitters and see what's on the site that looks good to you. You may get on there and be like, ew, I've decided that I don't want to house sit, you know? But you probably won't. You probably won't. I'm going to drop my affiliate link so you can go, and then just in case you decide to join at the spur of the moment, Trusted House Sitters. This is my affiliate link. They give me a cut. I'm an ambassador for them, and they give me a share. When you join Trusted House Sitters, they give me some dough. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Okay, so this is a link that's in the description. So if you are watching on your phone or whatever, you can just go down to the description. If you're watching on YouTube, just get the toolkit. Just go to housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. Get the toolkit. The link is in there. Okay, so I know I was answering a question. I was doing a good job, and I forgot what the question is. It was, we talked about is it competitive? No, was that the question? About house sitting in the U.S. So house sit locally, yes. Yes, you're going to see their house sits in the U.S. I just applied last night for a house sit in the Tampa. There are islands off of Tampa. Who knew? I don't know anything about anything. I know there are islands like off of the other side of Florida, but there are islands off of Tampa. So I just applied for a super swanky house sit off of Tampa. So yes, people are going places. People are traveling just for shorter periods of time. Do I like the UK? I really enjoyed house sitting in the UK. I really enjoyed it. The UK has good public transportation. You can get where you want to go. It's expensive. I was in or around London for 2 or 3 months, and it was just expensive, especially coming from Mexico, you know. So it was expensive to me, but I was there during a winter that was warm. I got there, I think, late winter, early spring. Weather was good, even though it was rainy, but the weather was good. Yeah, so I like certain things. I like to see things. When we say the U.S. is like ahead of countries, I'm like, no, actually, in the U.K., public transportation is great. In a lot of the world, public transportation is great. I appreciated that about the U.K. You can get a train from anywhere to anywhere. Not cheap, but nothing in the U.K. is cheap to me. But yeah, I did enjoy it. Wendy says she would like to go to Maine. Now, Maine is let's see, do I see Maine house sits? You see lots of Boston? You're going to have to look around, Wendy. Look around on the sites and see what's up there. I see a lot of house sits up to Boston, but I don't, maybe because I don't pay attention to them, because as y'all know, I boycott winter. I'm not down with weather. So I'm not down with cold weather. I'm not down with super hot weather. So I've not, so it might be that I don't see a lot of Maine because I'm not looking. I just block it out, keep scrolling past it. But you'll see, look on the site and you'll see what's happening. Annabelle, we're saving money, getting on online business, waiting for passports. By the way, I have a Turkish neighbor, 6'5". Give him my number, please. He says many good men are in Turkey. I believe him. I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures. They look tall. They seem like a tall people, right? There are some people who are just taller. I'm in Mexico, not a tall people. They're not, that's not, it's not their thing. They're not tall. Yes. I think we're going to Turkey Easter of 2022 if things permit. I think a lot of us will be in Turkey Easter of 2022, right? Is that what we decided a few weeks ago? That's still on the calendar. Is house sitting competitive even in local areas? That's hard to answer. So there are some house sits, and you'll be able to tell them right away. There are some house sits super competitive, right? In your local area, there are going to be some house sits where you're like, I want to stay here. I would pay to stay here, right? Yes, those are competitive. Regular everyday house sits, not super competitive, right? Competitive is relative, but that you can find, there are some houses when they post it, within an hour, they're going to have 50 people have applied for that house sit. Right, but there are regular everyday house sits where after they've posted it 3 days ago, still like 4 to 7 people have applied for the house sit. So I wouldn't be too concerned about how competitive it is because you are a competitive applicant. You're a competitive applicant because you're going to apply very early because you have set your alert on your phone. You're a competitive applicant because you have filled out your profile fully, because you have a wonderful letter of reference from someone who can speak to how reliable and trustworthy you are and how you're a friend to animals if you're pet sitting. You're competitive because you have a bomb letter of reference from me that you've gotten from housesit.vicarious.com, not letter of reference. You have a bomb email template from me that you've gotten from housesit.vicarious.com, which makes you competitive. So don't worry about that. Jesse, don't worry. Don't worry. Now, if we're talking about Hawaii, yes. Yes, I just saw 2 really nice Hawaii house sits over the last couple of weeks. Very competitive. But like 2 nice, there have been quite a few Hawaii house sits, but what I have learned is that some people move to Hawaii and don't seem to be able to afford Hawaii, right? Some of those house sits, I'm like, you moved to Hawaii to live like that? No judgment, but judgment. I'm judging you. Yeah, Hawaii is expensive. I've seen some houses that look glorious. And of course, they're going to be more competitive. Do you get paid to house sit? When you're house sitting through a site like Trusted House Sitters, House Carers, Mind My House, you do not get paid. You are getting free accommodation. You're getting free accommodation. You're responsible for your own transportation there. You're responsible to feed yourself while you're there. You're not getting paid to house sit. Now, only half of my house sits now are through sites are through Trusted House Sitters. Half of my house sits are now through word of mouth, and I do get paid for word of mouth house sits. Okay, yeah. So if you can book a house sit on your own, you can charge. If you're booking through a site like Trusted House Sitters, you are not paid to house sit. You cannot request payment, none of that, no matter what it is. Even if it's 10 dogs and all these responsibilities, you cannot request payment. Okay, so pick houses that you like and that you're going to want to do and that are worth it to you. Okay, don't pick a house sit where you're going to feel like it's a job and you're not getting paid for it. Okay. Are there any words that Hi, Ione. Are there any words that you suggest should be included in your Trusted House Sitter profile? The words like responsible or reliable or dependable, yes. Words like, why, I would include why you like why you want to house sit, especially if you're brand new. It's okay to say, I want to house sit so that I can travel. I have free time now. They get it. They get it. They're the same way, you know. Um, so, yeah, how trustworthy, reliable, whatever. Um, why you want to travel. Any animal experience that you have. If you have any kind of experience taking care of any kind of animal, say that. That's about it. I'm thinking about like my profile and the profiles that I've read lately. That's about it. Those are the things that you want to make sure in your profile and in your letter always. Turkey is really high on our list, Teresa. We're going to be there. Easter 2022. Yes, Jamiqua. Yes, married couples can house sit. Yes, they can. You were so I talked about this a little while ago. You may be newer, or this may be an older comment, so I'm going to answer it. But I'm sorry if you've already gotten your answer. So, Trusted House Sitters says that you need to both have a profile on their site. Okay, that's the Trusted House Sitters way. That you both have a profile. Now, that's not how I have seen people doing it. Okay, instead, one person has the full profile and then they make sure that in their profile and in their pictures and everything they say we house sit together, we are a couple. House sitting clients love couple house sitters. They love couples to house sit. I don't even know why. I think it's because there's two of them sometimes and they're like, oh well, they're taking our place, so we need two house sitters. I don't know, but they love couples house sitting. It's easier than you think. Yeah, it's easier than you think to get booked as a couple. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I saw a super chat. I'm so behind on the regular chat that I missed it. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can go to YouTube and acknowledge the super chat because it's missing on. Maybe I can search for it. Here, Pam McCullough. I'm so sorry, Pam. This is a good question. I hope you're still here. Thank you very much for that super chat. Pam asks, what if you get a bad review? If you get a bad review, you're going to have a lot of faith in another person to be able to, you're going to have to address that bad review in your future applications, in your future attempts to get other house sits. You're going to have to address that. And then you're going to have to hope that someone is able to see past that bad review. Okay? A bad review after having good reviews is probably okay. A first bad review is bad news. Like seriously, if your first review is a bad review, I think it's bad news. If you've got some other glowing reviews and a bad review and you can address that bad review in your letter of, your letter, then do that. Okay, is that a good enough answer? So you can overcome it as long as it's not the very first review. If it's the very first review, that's going to be really hard. You're going to have to rely. Then you're going to just have to hope that someone gets desperate enough to take you at the last minute, even with the bad review. Like, yeah, that's the only way I see out of that. Yeah, but that being said, so house sitting clients and house sitters are really chill people. And we're like if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all type. You're more likely to get no review than a bad review, unless you just do some off the wall stuff, right? Unless you do some off the wall stuff. So in our Facebook group, in the Exodus Summit Facebook group, we talked to Stephanie from Washington, D.C., who brought in a house sitter. And the house sitter didn't actually show up for the house sit. Stephanie left, which is not uncommon. She left directions for the house sitter to come in. The house sitter never came. Dog pooped all over the house. And I think it was 2 or 3 days that the dog didn't eat. Right. That's a bad review. Okay, that's a bad review. I'm struggling even to think of what people would leave you a bad review for versus things they just would not acknowledge, right? I leave the house the way I found it right? And so people always say, oh my gosh, you left it so clean. I leave the house the way I found it. I do what they ask, right? I don't take house sits that require things that I don't want to do. So then I don't have to do stuff that I don't want to do or worry about not doing it, right? Like cutting the grass. Sometimes you'll see that in long house sits in the UK, like it'll be an English manor, gorgeous, like a bed and breakfast looking place, just beautiful. And they'll be like, okay, and we want you to do the gardening, which to them is cutting the grass, right? Take care of the yard. I'm not going to apply for that. I am not that type. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to apply for that. Some of you would love that house sit and you would apply for it and do it. But I wouldn't apply for it. Then I wouldn't have to worry about them leaving me a bad review when I didn't cut the grass, because I'm not cutting the grass, So I'm struggling to think of what would get you a bad review versus what would just get silence from them. I think most small things would just be silence. They'd be like, I wanted her to email me or I wanted her to text me or WhatsApp me every day with an update on the dog, and she only did it every other day. I don't think that's a bad review. I think you're more likely to just get no review. Or maybe like a passive aggressive, a positive but passive aggressive review. Okay, so thank you for that super chat. This month we're giving our super chat to Womanist Working Collective. Womanist Working Collective is run by a woman in New Orleans, Louisiana, a black woman in New Orleans who is going to Philadelphia for the summer, and she is letting a black woman stay in her home for the summer as a sabbatical. Right? She's turning her space into a sanctuary space for the summer for another black woman to sabbatical in for the summer. And we are giving super chat for the month of May to her for that purpose. Her goal is to be able to pay that black woman's rent or mortgage for those 3 months. So she's trying to raise big bucks. If the I Fund Women campaign gets posted soon, I will tell you about that, but we're looking for a corporate sponsor. Like seriously, we're looking for some big dough. Super chat money will go to that as well. Right now, the person, whoever that person is, already has a food stipend. She's got enough money. Womanist Working Collective has already gotten money from a private source to pay that woman a food stipend for the summer. And she's got a book stipend, which I contributed, a book stipend. So there is a black-owned bookstore in New Orleans. We now have a book stipend, so that woman who is there in that sanctuary space for the summer has access to that bookstore and money for the summer. So thank you for that, and that's where the super chat is going. Thank you, Ms. J, for your super chat. Do you talk about saving for retirement in your course? I'm 43 years old and almost credit card debt free, but no retirement. However, happy to leave the U.S. to live abroad and be a house sitter. I don't, but Rashida does. Rashida is Sheeta's on the Loose on YouTube. YouTube.com/Sheeta's on the Loose. Rashida is Sheeta's on the Loose on YouTube, and she does. So retirement and saving and investing, nobody wants my advice on that. Real talk, nobody wants my advice on these things. But Rashida, you want Rashida's advice. So Rashida retired at 39. Okay, she retired at age 39 through saving and investing. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, don't. It would be a waste of time. All I would do was be like, I don't know. I have a Roth IRA. I don't know if that's the right type of IRA. I don't know. Who knows? What am I doing? I don't know. So go to Rashida. Sheeta's on the Loose. Okay, thanks, friends, for the super chat. Thank you so much, Simona, for the super chat. I see those coming in. And thank you, Jamae, for that super chat. Thumbs up to you, too. Thank you very much. I'm on a third-party app called Ecamm Live. So instead of showing me the emojis, it just describes it. Abba, thanks for that super chat. Love the book stipend. I think she has such great ideas. I don't want to say her name, the woman from Womanist Working Collective. She has such great ideas on how to make her space a sabbatical space for a woman for the summer. So I'm excited for it. It's about time for us to get it, get the person in there. She may already have chosen who she wants in the space, but it's going to be a black woman. She is it will be a black woman who is working in the areas of, I want to say social justice. I don't think that's the word that she used, but a black woman who is doing some sort of work for all of us and who needs or who wants some sanctuary time, some sabbatical time. So I'm excited about that. Okay, thanks, Prince, for that super chat. I do too. Yeah, Teresa. Teresa says our people are so thoughtful of others and creative. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Sheila. Any special federal taxes if paid house sits outside of the U.S.? Good question. This is why you cannot get paid to house sit through the sites like Trusted House Sitters or House Carers or whatever. If you're not eligible to work in that country, you're not supposed to get paid in that country. So that's why these house sits are unpaid. One of the reasons that these house sits are unpaid. So if you're paid, it's under the table, which is why I said I don't usually talk about backdoor things, but this is something, So if I'm paid to house sit, it's under the table. Okay. That's that on that. So no, the answer is no. So the answer is no, because I'm not eligible to work in that other country. I'm not eligible to earn money in that other country. So that's why that's another reason that these house sits are unpaid. Thanks for that super chat, Annabella. We love your channel. Thank you. It's here. It's you. You're the channel. We're the channel together. Veronica, thank you for that super chat. You're amazing. Thank you very much, Veronica. All right. So and thanks for that super chat, Nicole. Nicole, this seems like a fantastic program for women in need. Sure does. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the sabbatical space for the summer. Love the Womanist Working Collective concept. I do too. I do too. When she sent me the email, I was like, I couldn't get back to her fast enough. I could not reply to her fast enough about it. New me, what about having a home base? So I want to say one more time, house sitters do not have to house sit all the time. Right? You can just house sit on your vacation from work, right? If you have 3 weeks vacation from work and you want to go somewhere and house sit, you can house sit then. House sitters don't have to be full-time house sitters. Plenty of people house sit just now and again. Okay. But as a year-round house sitter, my home base is just my parents' house. One time I must have said that I live in their attic and my mom got so mad. She was like, "You don't live in the attic." Tell people it's not an attic. It's just upstairs. So I feel like I need to clear that out with Mother's Day being tomorrow. Clear that up. I just live upstairs in my parents' house. They are downstairs. I'm upstairs. And that's it. Some people keep their home, right? I talked to some women over the last few weeks who have a home and they have adult children who live in the home. And so they're free to go wherever they want. The adult children are going to be home taking care of things at home. So they have a home base. If you're comfortable with not having a home base, you can do that too. My home base, I've had times when I've gone back to my parents' house, like house sat for just a few days and gone back. I've had times when it was a month, a year, 11 months from the time I left to the time I came back. It depends on what you're comfortable with. Now, I just read an article about women in my age group co-living, right? They don't like roommates, right? Because a lot of us don't have aged children, don't have young children. So you can just, even if women my age do have children, they're old now. They're old kids now. So there are ways to work out having a home base without having a full responsibility for rent or mortgage. I'm upstairs in my mom and dad's house. I'm not, y'all know I ain't paying no rent. I'm not into paying for a place to stay. I'm not into it. All right. Weezy Jefferson says, I won't have a home base if I leave because I don't have siblings and I lost my mom. It could be that you don't keep a home base, right? It could be that if you just want to take off and go, it could be that you don't keep a home base in the U.S. It could be that you find something really expensive. So that there are these programs out now for people to move to towns that nobody wants to move to, and they pay you 1 year For if you move there for a year, they pay you $12,000 or something like that. West Virginia, what is it? There's a town in West Virginia that is paying people to move there. I want to say someplace in Oklahoma, but not Tulsa. What's another place in Oklahoma? They're paying people to move there, which basically they would pay you enough money to cover your rent for a year. So there are ways to work it. If you want to have a home base, but you don't want to have to pay for your rent or mortgage, you'd have to get creative. What is that town in Oklahoma, y'all? It's not Tulsa. If it might be Tulsa now that I think about it. There are towns that are paying people to move there. If you stay for a year, they'll give you X number of dollars either per month or at the end of the year, so that, you could technically have them cover your rent while you're out and about, bopping around the globe. I look at them every time, but they're never in a place I would want to spend any time. And they're never in a place where you can conveniently get to an airport to get out of the country, which is a bonus. Being from Delaware, living in Delaware, I can fly out of New York or DC or Maryland so easily that moving to West Virginia seems like a no-go. But it might work for some people. Hi. Rain falls from grace. Hi. Have you had any house sits that you regretted house sitting for? Any horror stories? So the only bad house sit that I had was with a dog who got aggressive with me for just a few seconds, like just a couple seconds. Even it might not even have been 2 seconds. And the reason that I blame myself for that was that I didn't do the things that I would tell you to do. So this was a house sit with no reviews. She had house sitters before, because you can see that on Trusted House Sitters. She had I think, 3 house sitters before, and no one left her a review. That's not common. That's a red flag. Instead of me saying, how come nobody left you a review? Or how did your dog respond to these other house sitters? I just was like, hey, I want to go to Santa Monica. It was in Santa Monica, California. I want to go, walk to the pier. Yes, thank you. So I took the house sit. They had this special collar. I've done a video on it called Worst House Sits. I don't know. Worst House Sits? I don't know. Something like that. I've done too many videos to remember their names. So he wore this special prong collar because he was a puller when he walked. So the second or third time I went to take the collar off of him, I couldn't get it off of him, and I poked him in his neck, and boom, he let me know that's the last time I'm gonna do that. It took like a couple of seconds for me to give him commands and calm him down, and then he just laid down and he just kept the collar on for the rest of the weekend. I was house sitting, I think, for only 2 nights, so he just kept that collar on for the rest of the weekend. He just propped himself up to sleep. And I talked to her and I said, this is what happened. And she said, oh yeah, the last house sitter had to call animal control on him. This is why I say I don't take house sits from people who don't have reviews. This is why I don't go into Facebook groups and advertise my services as a house sitter. I don't do it. All of my house sits come from people on Trusted House Sitters who have amazing reviews already, or from people who have given me a word of mouth recommendation and have been in that person's home already. Yeah, I don't go in blind. And that's the reason. That's the biggest horror story. That I've house sat for a couple of really, really old dogs, and it's really like I've been afraid that they were going to die, because if I were a really, really old dog and I thought I was going to die and then my owner left, I might take that opportunity to to pass away. I've been afraid of that, and neither one of them died on me. So that's good news. Yeah, one was 19 and the other one was 18. Yes. So that's a fear, but not a horror story. That's actually a good story, I think. That's it. But that's the only horror story, and it comes because I did the thing that I would tell you never to do. I took a house sit from someone with no reviews and red flags. Like that, the fact that she had already had house sitters and no reviews is a red flag. Tulsa, thank you, Ione. Tulsa launched the Tulsa Remote Program, which offered $10,000 to relocate there. More than 10,000 people from all 50 states and 100 countries applied. Okay. I think it's still going on. And I think because just last week, or just a couple of weeks ago, someone shared links to that again, and to an artist grant program. in Tulsa. It was Tulsa. Thank you for that. So there are places that are paying people to move there. Google it, right? Google remote work programs and see. Some of them have no requirement on how much time you actually spend in that city. As long as you're there with a place to stay for a year, they don't care if you're actually physically there for a year. So read those requirements and see what's up. That might be a good way to work it out. We didn't talk about that on this channel. We talked about it in the Exodus Summit Facebook group. The Exodus Summit Facebook group is for Black women planning an exodus, right? Planning to leave the U.S. either on a sabbatical or to move abroad. And we had that conversation in the group not too long ago. Yeah, Clarissa says no amount of money is worth going to Tulsa. Do your research. So yeah, be informed, be aware. That's the first thing I thought when I saw the West Virginia posting. I was like, is it worth it? I don't think so. Because it wasn't like, I don't know what town it was in West Virginia. Yeah, so you decide, just like with house sitting, right? The options are there. You decide if you want to say yes to something or say no to something. It's all up to you. Yeah. But if you are looking, so I want to say again, you don't have to keep a home base. You could be a person who travels with who's gotten rid of everything, travels with your 3 suitcases all over the world, and you're fine with that. It can work. Or your home base could be in Merida, Mexico, which is really piping hot, but really inexpensive. Rashida, her channel is Sheeta's on the Loose. Rashida interviewed Colby from World of a Wanderer, and I believe Colby told us her rent was $300 a month or something like that. So you may pick up a home base in a really inexpensive place. Options. Exercise your options. Look around and see what you think is a barrier. Might just be a hurdle, right? You think it's a full-on barrier. It might just be a hurdle. It might just be something that you need to get creative to fix. Ask other people what they're doing. If you see somebody doing something, ask them what they're doing. Venus, I want info on releasing myself from rent, sharing space. I have no children or family. I'm interested in sharing space. I rent a condo now. So this is an opening in the market. We need a place where adults can go and work this out, right? So there's like roommates.com or whatever, but I don't know that that's adult friendly. So it does need to be a thing. This is something that I'm going to say this again. This is something that a local Facebook group would help with. You find a local Facebook group either in your community or in the community that you want to go to, and you meet people and you tell people what you're looking for, and you work that out. I have quite a few women who have gone through either house sitter school or who have done a one-on-one call with me who are now living with a sibling, right? That makes it, but you could do the same thing with a not sibling, right? Who says they have to be a sibling? I just talked to a lady this week who's in her brother's home for a while. I talked to several women. I think Kathy's told us on the channel. Kathy is with her sister in Atlanta, and she's house sitting. I think Kathy's house sitting right now. She's moved into her sister's house in Atlanta so that she can house sit at will. Whenever she feels like it, she can go pick up a great house sit someplace. So there is an opening in the market, anyone who's listening, for a place where grown-ups can work this out. Because it's the wave of the future. It's basically like, so there are what people would call hostels that are more long-term. There are co-living spaces out there, but those tend to be more expensive because they tend to be geared towards working millennials and Gen Zers, working people, professionals, not people who are doing it, who want to do it on a budget. So there is a space for it. There's a market for it. Yeah. But I today, before that, until that platform exists today, like seriously, just talk to people. Tell people this is what you want. Like you did today. Tell people that this is what you want. Get in local groups and see if you can work that out. Yeah. We have a lot of Tulsa people here. We have quite a few women from Tulsa here. I think they're working. I think they're working to fix Tulsa, right? They're working to make Tulsa a better place. Is that what's happening? No. All this, no. Okay. I guess not. Now I'm scrolling through the comments and I see comment after comment. Not Oklahoma. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they do have a bad reputation. Tulsa is not a friend to black people, but I think, is it getting better? No? Is that just because I don't live there? Yes, Tulsa is exactly that state. This is the anniversary, the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa, they call it a race riot. I don't know that it was a race riot. The Tulsa massacre. Yeah. Yeah, okay, now I see. Okay, I'm behind in the comments. Okay, so we're saying no to Oklahoma and West Virginia. I'm just giving y'all options. I'm just telling you what I had heard, okay? I'm not saying you have to do these places. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, I'm not saying we have to go to these places. I'm just telling you that there are some options. Okay. All right. Good question, Joni. How does a house sitter handle household problems like plumbing, electrical, air conditioning issues? And how are these paid? Also, some questions regarding veterinary appointments or emergencies. I'm gonna start with the vet stuff. They always have the name of the vet, the contact information for the vet, and most of the time they have worked out with the vet that if you have to bring the pet in for an emergency, they will pay when they get back. Now, I've only taken two. I've taken two pets to the vet here in Mexico. Kojo, who was just here, all in my space. Kojo is an actor. Kojo can pretend that something is wrong when nothing is wrong, so that you will take him in the car, and I didn't know this. So Kojo pretended to be sick. I took him in the car to the vet, and Kojo miraculously was fine. I didn't know this at the time. So, so got to the vet. They knew that I was the house sitter, and they said, this is what the bill will be. I'm pretty sure it was 800 pesos, which is $40, which is a lot for Mexico. But I'm sure $40, but that was what happened. And then when the homeowner came back, she paid. I told her about it and she paid. Lara in Guanajuato had a scratch that became infected. And so it was like, big pussy mass on her side. I took her to the vet. I took her 3 times because they gave her shots for antibiotics instead of, I don't know. They just wanted to check on her. And that homeowner had already left me a stack of cash because I had to pay her electric bill and something else. So I had enough to pay the vet for that. And I cannot remember what that was, but it wasn't very much because she didn't leave me very much cash. So she had already left cash and I paid with that cash. Household issues. So like with anything else, you would contact them and be like, this is a problem. If it's something that needs to be addressed right away, you're going to have to address it right away. And they're going to have to contact like I would assume if the pipes burst, let's say, I would assume that your client would have a plumber to call, that they would contact the plumber and make the payment arrangements. And I would just have to be there to let the plumber in. That's what I would assume. I have been in house sits where they have some sort of construction work going, which I don't care for. I don't like it because I feel like I have to be responsible, even though they don't expect me to be responsible for anything. I feel like, I don't know. I don't care for that. But I've never had it and I've had where they have an appointment, like a plumber, so-and-so is coming for this appointment. Again, not something I like. And if I knew ahead of time, I now ask this question. If I knew that was going to happen ahead of time, I probably would not have taken the house sit, unless it was a fabulous house. No lie. I'll do a lot of things to stay in a fabulous house. But if it's just a house and they have a plumber coming to do XYZ while I'm there, I would say, either I'm not going to take the house sit, or can you reschedule the plumber, or I'll just be there. Okay, I'll be there. I'll let him in. I'm not responsible. Okay, I hope I've answered your questions, Joni. So They're still the homeowner. They're still the person who's going to have to handle these things. Wherever they are in the world, they're going to have a phone. They're going to have a cell phone. They're going to be able to handle it. But they always have some, if it's a pet sit, they always have some kind of veterinary like arrangement and emergency contact info for you. You never have to figure that out. I've never had to figure that out. Cat graphics. When is the Exodus Summit? Child, I don't think it's going to happen this year in that way. So Exodus Summit was a 6-day online virtual summit for Black women who want to plan a sabbatical or move abroad, September of 2020. It was awesome. We still have the Facebook group going strong, Exodus Summit Facebook group at exodussummit.com/community. But I don't think we're going to do I think we're going to do things in a different way. So the lessons, the classes on taking a sabbatical, the classes on moving abroad are still at exodussummit.com. They're still helpful. But I don't think we're going to redo that this year. If you're looking for something specific from us, Kat, if you need some information that we didn't give you last year, tell us. Seriously, tell us what's missing and what you need this fall. Because what's up there is still good. It's still good info. It's the best info you're going to find about taking a sabbatical or about moving abroad. ExodusSummit.com. If you're not a Black woman, you can still go to ExodusSummit.com and get that good info. Get it. I'm telling you, okay? Get that good info. You just can't join the Facebook group. Okay, good. Okay. I'm the admin, so I'm here. When that's done, I will go do that. Our other admin, Rashida Dow, is out having a play date with Adelia from Picky Girl Travels the World in Mexico City without me. Yes, so I just see that. Did we see the train wreck? I did see that there was the metro, one of the metro lines in Mexico City crashed and there were deaths. I want to say 20 something people died. 12 or 20 people died. Yes, I did see that. But our friends are safe and they're out kicking up their heels without me, having fun. I don't know. I'm a hater. I did just hang out with Rashida, but I'm still hating on that. All right, Alicia says she lived in Tulsa briefly and loved it. So I don't know, Tulsa. So there are quite a few women here who are regular, like channel friends of our channel who are in Tulsa. We did, Rashida and I ran the Get Your Next 3 Clients challenge. And one of the women is a woman who is doing work in Tulsa to like commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa, I don't know what to call it. It's usually called a race riot, but I don't think it was a riot. Or maybe white people were rioting, I guess. So, yeah. So there are Black people in Tulsa who are working on Tulsa. So I don't know. I haven't been. I'm not prepared to speak on it. But I don't know. I don't know. The Black Golden Girls. Yeah, Wendy, we need these things. We need to, yes. I'm all for it. I'm all for us finding a place to do that, to co-live, share expenses, cooperative living. I'm down with it. I'm cooperatively living with my parents if that means living with them and not paying them rent. Don't be upset with me if I don't, yeah, but if I paid them money, then I would just have to stay there longer. And they're like, just go. Just go. Just go. I don't know if it's called cooperative living if you don't pay them any money. Guanajuato looks beautiful and fun. I recommend it. I love Guanajuato. It's one of my favorite places. It's beautiful. Beautiful place. Inexpensive, beautiful, all of that. Yeah, so Motown investor. We got to find a place to, what city are you in? Someone needs to create this platform. Yes. So Sheila, married in Mexico, frequent power outages, stifling heat, and mosquitoes. Yes. I'm not saying live in Merida. I'm saying if you want a home base, if you want to if you want to rent an apartment for $200 a month or $250 or whatever it's going to cost you, that's just a place where you can store stuff, right? Where you just keep your stuff and you know that in between house sits you have a place to go. Might be worth it. I would never live in Merida. Oh, here we go. Glenda says to live there in 2021, Alaska, Marion, Iowa, Lincoln, Kansas, Baltimore, Maryland. Oh, I thought you were sharing with us. What is this, Glenda? I thought you were sharing remote work locations. It's just a list of towns? Or are these remote work locations? Are you telling us that these are towns that have that remote work program? Or are these just lists of towns? More info, Glenda, please. That's right. Makeda says there are co-op places out there, but they're expensive. That's right, because they're not geared to people on a budget. They're just geared to, young professionals who don't need a whole house. So we need something for us, for those of us who are looking to do it because we want to save money. Those are like playgrounds, right? They have, all of the amenities. Yes, Justice says don't forget that you can Airbnb your house while you're out house sitting. That's also correct. And there are people who will handle that for you. There are Airbnb managers who will handle your place for you. So let's say you're out house sitting for a month and you have 3 people staying in your Airbnb and you need to get it cleaned in between, there are managers who will handle that for you. All right. Okay. All of y'all are down with the Black Golden Girls. Yeah. We got to work on, yeah, that's not we. I'm sorry, I said the word we. Someone needs to get that together for us. Race Massacre, Clarissa. Yes, it's the 100th anniversary. It is. Okay. Hi, Latasha. Okay. Good morning. Oh, good. Makeda's renting her home out already to family. Good. Yes. Great plan. They will use this to build up cities. Yeah, yeah, no question, Christine. Yeah, that's always the goal, right? Gentrification is always the goal. Yeah. The Tulsa Friends are also on a very money supportive art program. I saw they have an amazing artist residency program. Amazing. It looked so good. Like it was tempting. It was tempting. I am working on being a writer, but I'm not a writer. I don't have what they would require for me to apply for the residency. But I'm telling you, it was tempting. If Tulsa it was closer to an international airport, your girl might be going live from Tulsa right now. Yes. Yeah, their work, I'm telling you, Tulsa seems to be a work in progress. That's all I can say. It seems to be a work in progress. How do you find local Facebook groups? You just go on Facebook and put in your city name and your thing, right? So if you're looking for a group for women, I don't know, empty nesters in your city, put it in there and see what happens. You might find it. Right? If you're looking for a group abroad, you can just put in expats in the city that you want to go to, right? Expats in Portugal, expats in Lisbon, black expats in Lisbon. But in your city, you would find groups for people in your, thing, whatever thing that you're looking for. So if you're looking for a group of empty nesters in Tulsa or artists in Tulsa, or whatever that is, look around, look and see. Facebook is, for all of its evils, Facebook is just a way for people to form community. It's a very easy way for people to form communities around things that would be really hard offline, right? Cat Graphics, are you in the Exodus Summit Facebook program? Facebook group. If you are, there was a link to the post there about the artist residency in Tulsa. Okay, Alexandria, I heard the water temperature and pressure in Mexico is not good. Have you experienced? No, water's fine. The water pressure and temperature is fine. I've stayed in I don't know how many houses and whatever, no problems. How some houses are old and they have different water heaters, and some houses are new and they have a tankless thing, and so it's all different. But I've not had any problem with water temperature or pressure in Mexico at all. No problems. When you have been ignoring YouTube for an hour. Oh, Mishi, are you late? It's okay. Welcome. Welcome, Mishi. Hi, KT Priss. Sorry if you already answered this. I'm coming in late. Is it often possible to house sit with your own pet along in tow? I haven't answered this yet. You can. You can. It's up to each individual house sitting client, right? It's up to them whether or not they want you to house sit with your pet. But I house sit for a couple who house sits with their dog, Ruby. Sometimes they house sit and they take Ruby and they don't need me. Other times they house sit, Ruby can't go. And so then I come and house sit for them. So you have two choices. You apply for the house sit and you let them know that you have the cat, and they say yes, you take the cat with you, great. They say no, maybe you bring in your own house sitter to house sit for you while you're out house sitting. Trusted House Sitters does have a combined membership. They have a membership for clients, they have a membership for house sitters, and then they have a combined membership for somebody who wants to do the two. But it is, yes, you can do it. Yes. That's one thing about house sitting that surprised me, that people house sit with their pets. They take their pets and they go pet sitting with them. Yeah, you just need somebody who's like, yeah, sure. They probably will want to video chat with you and your cat, you know, see your cat's disposition. But you can do it. Find someone. You're going to have to keep applying. You know, when you're giving yourself, when you're in a situation where where people could possibly be like, no, I don't want that. You're going to have to be willing to apply for multiple house sits. Okay. This is not I applied for 2 house sits and nobody took me. Okay. Same with children, right? You're going to have to be willing to apply for house sits and house sits and house sits. That's why that template letter is copy and paste. Yeah. Find houses that you like, copy and paste, individualize each one, press send. House sitting with children or with pets is not going to be as easy as house sitting as a solo person, but not impossible. But apply for house sits, plural. Okay. All right. How often do I deal with cameras in the house? I get this question all the time. Everyone has cameras. I didn't know this until the last, few years when I started house sitting. Everyone has cameras. It's just, like the Ring doorbell. They have a camera that looks at the front door, and then they have a camera that looks at the back door. They have a camera that looks at where the pet sleeps. Everyone has cameras. I have never come across a camera that they didn't already tell me about. Never. I've never found a camera in a living space. Okay? But they do have cameras. They will either tell you if you don't want it, just cover it or turn it off or whatever. I have, most of the time, it's the camera that's aimed at the pet's door. They're at the pet's play area. Like Kojo, if she had a camera here, which she doesn't. I said everyone, but she doesn't have a camera. But if she had one, she would probably have a camera that looks like at this sofa, because Kojo seems to love this sofa. And she would just say, you can cover the camera. Cover it, turn it around, whatever. That's how it always happens. That's what they always say. You can cover or whatever. Rashida's texting me right now while she's out having fun with the Dahlia. I don't think that's nice. I don't think that's nice at all. Let me turn off notifications. I don't think that's nice at all. You don't do that. Have your fun without me. I've never, not once, found a camera that they didn't already tell me about. Justice says thoroughly inspect the pet when you first meet them to identify any pre-existing conditions. That happened with Laura in Guanajuato. I felt her when we got there. I patted her or whatever, and that we were there for a full day before the homeowner left. I was in the house for a full day with the homeowner before she left. And I felt the lump on Laura, but I just, she's lumpy, whatever. And then a couple weeks later, I just noticed that the lump was bigger. And I said to her, that lump on Laura is bigger. And she was like, what lump? And I was like, well, it's been there since I've been here, but it feels like it's growing. And it was pus, and it was infected. and I had to take her to the doctor. So I did kind of inspect her, but I didn't report my inspection findings until 2 weeks later. Okay. I have, Kat. So I've been to South Africa. I've looked into Africa. I've been to South Africa. I spent 2 full months driving myself around South Africa. It was one of the best times of my life. I recommend it. I drove from Cape Town to something else, another town with the Addo Elephant Park, wherever Addo Elephant Park is, whatever that town is called, over to Durban, to Johannesburg, and Pretoria. I drove over to the other place with the other, the most Kruger National Park, the famous park, right? I drove South Africa, honey, 2 months. I have looked into Africa. I don't, so I'm a budget traveler. You already know this, Cat. I don't know why you're asking me that. I'm a budget traveler. Africa is not easy on a budget. And I work remotely. I need good internet. I need reliable electricity. So I'm not looking to go to anywhere in Africa long term anytime soon. No. But I've been. I love it. I recommend it. I love it. I recommend it. You already know. Y'all know. Don't ask me that question. I'm not into Black women being told that we have to go to Africa, which is a lot of messaging on the internet. This is not for you, Kat. Okay. So that was a period at the end of that sentence, at the end of that. Now I'm on to a new subject. Right. But Black women get told on the internet, if you have a YouTube channel, you will get told on the internet, you should be only going to Africa. I'm into Black women going where we want. Go where you want. Do what you want. I want tacos and tequila inexpensively. I want the temperature to be 70 to 80 US degrees. What is that? Fahrenheit. It's not called US degrees, but I call it US degrees because we're the only one to do that. I want certain things. I get those things in certain places. I want to be able to live on $1,200 per month. Okay. So don't let people pressure you into a location. Find the things that fit you. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is life. This is it as far as I know. So get the things that you want in your life. I want these things. I want churros, tacos, tequila. Yes, thank you. I want 70, 80 degrees, 70 to 80 US degrees. Yes. I want to not have to fuss about internet and electricity. Yes. I want $1,200 a month. Yes. I want to be able to get back to New York, to JFK Airport, within 6 hours. Yes. So that's why I have picked certain locations. That's why I'm all in on Portugal and Mexico. In Portugal, it's not churros. It's the other things that I love. The pastel de nata, right? Instead of churros, it's pastel de nata. But I can still get back to JFK in 6 hours. So it's good for me. All right, let me keep going. My cats might act a fool in somebody else's house. Yeah. Maybe you need a house sitter. Maybe you just need to bring in a house sitter. I'll come. Where do you live? Let me know. I like cats. So cats are some cats. I never thought I liked cats. I never had any cats. I never had like much experience with cats. My Aunt Mildred always had Beulah. She had Beulah like my whole life. I don't know how Beulah lived so long. My Aunt Mildred had Beulah, but I never had an experience with cats. But let me tell you, that first cat sit changed my whole perspective on cats. They're so easy. You don't walk them. Sometimes you don't even feed them. A lot of people have these automatic feeders for cats and automatic water fountains. You don't walk them. You don't feed them. Sometimes they have a cat door. No picking up poop sometimes. Sometimes they have a litter box. Sometimes they have an outdoor cat door. Cats are the life. They are so easy. They don't care what you do. They don't care when you come and go. They're actually happier when you leave the house. Cat sitting is wonderful. I'm telling you. Don't sleep on it. Okay. All right. Makeda, I've been trying under $1,000 per month in Jamaica, but for real, even the exchange rate is still not under $1,000 with sketchy Wi-Fi issues. Yeah, Jamaica's it's not a super budget destination. No, it's not. I don't know any place in the Caribbean where you're going to get to where you're a Caribbean island where you're going to be on a budget, right? There, like Costa Rica has part of Costa Rica is Caribbean. You know, like once you get down to Central America, that Caribbean, yes. But in an island, mm-mm, I don't think so. Gina, what about self-care while house sitting, especially in Mexico? Have you been ill while house sitting in another country? No. I don't know that I've been ill house sitting. I was ill in an Airbnb one time, and my Airbnb hostess was really nice to me and brought me. I think she brought me medicine and juice. I don't know if she brought me soup or not. So house sitting, because I'm house sitting alone. House sitting means that I have to be in contact with the homeowner. So if I were to get very ill, I would have to reach out to the homeowner and tell them, hey, there's a problem, right? What's your backup plan? Is your backup plan a neighbor or whatever? No, the answer is no. I have not had any experience with getting ill while house sitting. Self-care while house sitting is easy. I am a house sitter who just does not much. To me, self-care is being where I want to be, when I want to be there, and taking it slow. And all of those things are very house sitting friendly. So like house sitting is the self-care. It means I don't have to work very much. I work as little as possible. So to me, house sitting is the self-care. So, you know, also like I'm in Mexico where a pedicure is $15. If that, I don't even know if it's $15. Like if I want to do the outwardly self-care stuff, I could do that. There's like some sort of hot springs spa type thing around here. My mom has been, but I didn't go. Yeah. So it's all possible. It's all, yes. I mean, I don't have any more to say. Yes, you can practice good self-care while house sitting. To me, house sitting is a part of self-care. All right. Yeah, Sheila, I can understand why people have cameras. Sheila says, I don't mind the cameras, and I would only Airbnb my house to other people with cameras there. I understand why people want them. I feel like it's protection for me. I keep the camera. I've never ever moved or covered a camera that was aimed at the front door. Keep that. Keep it. That way we know what's happening. Yeah. All right. Okay. Any other house sitting questions before we go? Yeah, I did, Sheila. I drove a road trip around South Africa. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Um, yeah, they have some of the most scenic drives, you know, like there was the Maludi route. So we know about the Garden route, which is down south, right? From like Cape Town to like Jeffreys Bay, I think it's called the Garden route. But there's like the Maludi route. There are different mountain ranges and highlands in South Africa. So I drove up the Maludi route towards the Highland National Park, I think it was called or something. Beautiful. I mean, just breathtaking. Did I feel unsafe? No. Driving in South Africa. Now, I did daytime driving. I don't know that I ever drove anything at night. Except, well, I did drive most of the Garden route. I actually drove in the dark. It wasn't like super late night, but it was dark. So I didn't get to see a lot of the Garden route for myself. Most of that I did do in the dark, but not super late at night. But no, I didn't drive too much at night. You know, I drove on highways most of the time in the, you know, going from place to place. No. I got pulled over. I got pulled over by the police. I went to this, was going from somewhere to somewhere, and I got up in the morning, left my hotel, got in the car, drove for a little bit, and I drive past sunflower fields, like Monique is in the Netherlands. She knows what I'm talking about. Like just like you where you are, except they're sunflowers instead of tulips and hydrangeas and stuff. So I get out and I pull out my little tripod and my camera, and I'm stomping all in this man's sunflower field. Like I'm twirling, I took pictures, I'm like living. Then I get in my car. I'm like, that's enough of that. I get in my car and I go to make a U-turn, and I get pulled over by the police for making an illegal U-turn. And I was like, man, I should have stayed in that field a little bit longer. I got pulled over by the police. They looked at my driver's license like, what? Because I didn't bother to get an international driving permit. I don't really know that anyone recognizes it. I don't know. So anyway, they're looking at my driver's license like, and then they did write me a ticket. And that was it. I went on about my business. That was the end of the story. Yes. So did I feel unsafe? Not once. I think gas stations, all the gas stations are, what's it called? Where they have to pump for you. No self-service gas stations. So I don't know. I don't know why I mentioned that. It's just something I remember. No, but I know I didn't feel safe. Most of the time I was on highways though. And like, you're driving to Kruger, you're never like on your own on a road. But no, because they speak English, I speak English. So if something does happen, it's good. And that's a place where I've picked up hitchhikers. So I stayed in a hotel that was off the main road to Kruger, right? But you had to go back, maybe 10 minutes back to the hotel. Halfway on that road, there was some kind of farm that people worked, right? And people would get off the highway. The trucks, would drop the farm workers off on the highway, and they would walk back to the place to work. And every time I drove that road, I would see people just picking them up and taking them from that stop to the main stop, individual people taking them from place to place. So I started doing it too. Anytime I drove that road, I picked up whoever was waiting or whoever was walking and drove them to the highway to the main stop. I did it, for however long I was there, 4 days or whatever. It's another place where I picked up hitchhikers because that's what they do. That's the culture. That's what they do there. So that's how safe I felt. That's how unsafe I didn't feel in South Africa. Yes, it's expensive. It's expensive. Don't let people trick you. Teresa, don't let people guilt you. I have no shame in saying I'm a budget traveler. Africa is expensive. So don't let people, it's expensive. Yeah, we can go wherever we want. That's the point. Yes, we can go where we want. Yeah, I'm finally getting to those comments. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of that on the internet. You have to go. Black people have to go to Africa. Go wherever you want. Wherever you want. Including Africa. Go where you want. Okay. Can I house sit with a partner? Hi, Karen. Yes, house sitting couples are super popular. A lot of house sitting clients love couples to house sit. Trusted House Sitters does say that you need to both have a profile. Okay? That is the way that it's the right way to do it. They say you both need to have a profile. However, I have not seen people doing that. Okay? I have seen one person has the profile. They make it clear that they house sit as a couple. The pictures are of both of them. And when they do the call that you do, the video chat, they're both there to video chat, okay? But the rule with Trusted House Sitters is that you both have a profile. But I've not seen people do that, seriously. But yes, and people love house sitting couples. Because a lot of clients are couples, they love to have a couple come in. I don't know, they feel like, there are two of us, so we need two people to house sit for us. I don't know. But yes, to couples or any like friends, mother, daughter, any combo of people. Janelle, I'm trying to live under $800 per month. So we talked to Queen here, who lives here in Lake Chapala, on $275 US per month. That's more than 800. But not a whole lot more. So she does that here with massages. With her regular massage appointments. It is doable, but you're going to have to work at it. I live on $1,200 a month for the most part in most places without working hard to make that number work, with eating Uber Eats delivery and Rappi delivery and stuff, Yeah, Tisha Glow. Yeah, we don't do that here. We don't shame each other here for where we want to go, and we don't dictate where people go. I have so much Mexico stuff. Like I talk so much about Mexico, but I'm not telling you to go. I'm not telling anybody where to go. Go where you would like to go. Try it. Go and see. Do I still keep a house or apartment of my own? No, Ray. I am in my parents' upstairs. No, I am not paying for a place to stay. I'm just not. That switch has been flipped for me. I don't know what it would take for me to pay for a place of my own. I don't know. No. But people do. House sitters do. There are house sitters who do. But I'm upstairs in my mom and dad's house happily. Hi, mom and dad. My mom was here earlier. Okay, I'm in Savannah, moving to Merida. Okay. Oh, so you want to pet? Okay, so you don't know if your cat could act right, but you're going long term. If you were going short term, I would come and house sit for you in Savannah. Savannah's my mom's favorite place, and we would go and we would house sit for you and cat sit for you. But if you're going full time and you need to take your cat, yeah, you have to make sure that your cat can act right. All right. If you rent, can you use a house sitter? Yeah. Yes. I sometimes say homeowner when I'm talking about client, but I just mean client. Yes. It doesn't matter if you rent your home, if you own your home, whatever. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. No, nobody. Yes. That's not important. Whether you own or rent. Doesn't matter to us. Yes, 70 to 80 U.S. degrees. Today in Lake Chapala, Mexico. So it's been a little bit warm, but not super warm. Today in Lake Chapala, right now, it is 73 U.S. degrees. Welcome. I always call it U.S. degrees. And then I have to remember that people don't know that I'm joking. Then I have to be like, oh, I know it's Fahrenheit, but I call it U.S. degrees. Because nobody else says that, as far as I know. Yes, Simona, we just want freedom. That's right. We should go wherever in the world we feel comfortable. We want peace and happiness. We deserve it. Even if you don't have to earn peace and happiness, but Lord knows we've earned it. You don't have to earn peace of mind, but we have. And we deserve. We deserve. You deserve. All right. I'm still here, Natty. I got good internet. Child, we've been on the internet struggle bus for the last, month or two between La Paz, Mexico and San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. We've been on the internet struggle bus. So I'm just here and lavishing in the fast Wi-Fi. Yeah, but I'm going to close it up soon because I'm hungry. The housekeeper did not come. Veronica didn't come. So I guess she'll be here next week. So next Saturday, you'll see that I may have to I may have to get up and move while she's here. But Veronica didn't come today. So we're just chilling. Yeah, Caribbean is not as budget as I had expected. Oh, haven't tried Haiti or Cuba. If you need... Now, remember with Cuba, so Makeda, I don't know if you're traveling on the U.S. passport. Cuba is not going to be friendly for a U.S. passport holder for long term because you can't access your money. Americans are not allowed to bank in Cuba. You're not allowed to access money from your U.S. bank while you're in Cuba. So Cuba's going to be a struggle as well. And I don't think if you're working online at all, also the internet is not going to be your friend in Cuba. But report back. If you go, report back, please. Have I ever been to a country where I didn't fully know the language? Many. I traveled for a full year, Talia, through Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines. A lot of people in the Philippines speak English. But I traveled through Southeast Asia for a full year, basically 2 months in each of those countries. Can't say anything. In Thailand, I did try before I went. I got on Duolingo. I learned a handful of words, and I got on YouTube and I learned Sawadee Ka. I think that's hello. Kapung Ka, right? Which I think is thank you. Aroy, which is delicious. I always try to learn delicious for places because they love it. And when you go to a restaurant and you can say delicious in their language, they might give you a free dessert. Pro tip, But I've been to lots of places where I couldn't even say hello in Vietnam. So I tried to look up how to say hello in Vietnamese, and the lesson was like 20 minutes long. If the person is 20 years older than you say this. If they're 20 years younger than you say that. If you're a woman, if they are a man, you say this. If you're a woman and they're a woman, forget it. I couldn't even say hello in Vietnam. The good news is being a native English speaker is an amazing travel privilege because that is the language that the world is conducting business in. All travelers to Vietnam, instead of learning Vietnamese, they are learning English so that they can communicate with other people in Vietnam, because all business people who want to conduct business with tourists are learning English, right? A Vietnamese tourism vendor is not going to learn Dutch and Portuguese and German and Icelandic, right? They're just going to learn English so that they can communicate with all tourists. And all tourists are expected to be able to communicate in some form of English, Korean, So being a native English speaker means you are speaking the language of the tourism industry all over the world. Yes, you're going to find lots and lots of people in the tourism industry who don't speak any English, but you're going to make it work. When it comes to money, everybody can tell you how many Vietnamese dong they want you to pay them for that thing. If you're standing there with your food in your hand and you've pointed at the food that you want off the food cart, he can tell you in English how many dong you're supposed to pay him, no matter how much English he does or does not speak. And then you've got your nice, amazing translator in your pocket. I don't rely on Google Translate as much as you would expect. Mostly I just point and hand them my money, and they hand me back change. So yes, I would say Vietnam is the most foreign place I've been, right? I couldn't speak any of the language. I didn't understand anything. Everything looks different. Like Vietnam is the most foreign place, I would say, as an American. Some places look very similar. Australia, Australia, they speak English, something like English, and it looks like the US, right? So Australia is one of the least foreign, right? The UK is kind of in between. Spain, not super different looking. Portugal, a lot of Portugal, not super different looking from the US. But Vietnam, everything is different. Everything looks different. Everything is different. And I was there for 2 months and I made it. And it was fun. It was amazing. I got some clothes made. I got some shoes made. I got some pajamas made without speaking Vietnamese. So if language is a fear for you, not being able to speak the language, put that on the bottom of your list. Excuse me, put that on the bottom of your fear list, okay? It's 2021. You speak English, excuse me, you speak English, you'll be okay, okay? You can point, if you can speak English, if you can point, and if you can Google translate some stuff, you're good to go. Hi, Marish 317. That's the only bad house that I've had. That one crazy dog where I did that video. The couple seconds of crazy, it wasn't even like bad, but just a couple seconds of crazy with that dog is the one bad house sit. I would guess I'm over 50 house sits. I don't know. I'm not tracking all that. I'm not doing it. I'm not counting. I would guess 50 house sits, one bad house sit. That I wouldn't repeat, that will never be repeated, because I will never do a house sit for a stranger who doesn't have reviews or who doesn't have a word of mouth recommendation. But that was it. The one dog who got in my face for a few seconds is it. I pick house sits deliberately where I think I'm going to love it, because I don't go places I don't want to go. Go to a city that, if I'm in a city where I want to be, during a time of the year that I want to be there, and I'm getting free accommodation, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I'm only taking house sits that require me to do things that I want to do. I'm not taking a house sit that requires me to do yard work. I will water your garden. This house has lots and lots of plants, and she's got little seedlings, I guess, or whatever, little things that I have to water too. I will water for hours. I will do hours of plant watering for you, but I'm not cutting the grass. I refuse. I don't care how amazing your English manner in the countryside looks. I'm not cutting the grass. But that's it. That's why I'm still house sitting, and that's why I'm still talking about house sitting. Believe me, if it wasn't good, I wouldn't do it. I'm not into doing stuff that I don't enjoy. If you can't tell, I'm not into it. I'm not into doing stuff that I don't enjoy. And I still house sit because I enjoy it so much. Did I pay the ticket, Janelle, in South Africa? No, the car rental agency paid the ticket. Hertz paid me and charged me. So I paid the ticket, but they paid it and charged me for it. Mishi, what are Gen Ys doing? Gen Y is who? Who's Gen Y? Gen Y. I'm Gen X, right? And then millennials. Is that millennials or Gen Y? I don't know. First, you're going to have to tell me who they are. And then Gen Z. I know Gen Z is the newest kids. Or not, they're not kids. They're not even kids anymore. Millennials are 40. The oldest millennials are 40. Hey, y'all. Millennials have kids in college now. Good Lord, time flies. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me, Kat. I can't remember how much time passed. I'm pretty sure they paid that ticket before I left the country. I don't remember. Child, I don't know. But they paid it and they charged my card for it. Janelle, so this is the kind of video that I can't make. I can go live and we can talk, but I can't put stuff together. I can't do it. I do have a video of Kruger National Park on my channel from, I don't know, July or August of 2019. It's not good. Don't expect it to be good. I can't do that. That's not my skill set. I am a talker, not a video editor. So you're going to see a handful of pictures of my trip through Kruger National Park and through Addo Elephant Park. That's it. I don't have many video of the rest of South Africa, but it was great. Johannesburg, I say this all the time, Johannesburg is alive. I loved my time in Johannesburg. It's alive. It's a young, vibrant, alive city. I like to shop and eat and sit and watch people do things while I don't do things. And it's a place where you can do those things, right? There are outdoor markets. This is what, Saturday? So now it's later in the day there, but like in the Saturday mornings, you just go to an outdoor market thing. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, there's like a rooftop market. They have bands and there's an outdoor market. And yeah. I really, really loved Johannesburg. Same. I did use Uber there too. So I only rented my car from city to city. I would rent my car for a few days and then stay in that city for a while and then do another rental for So I did a lot of Ubering in Johannesburg, cheap, no problems. They always say, hello, how do you like my country? How are you enjoying my country? All the Uber drivers. Wonderful. I stayed in a beautiful guest house. So I stayed in lots of Airbnbs and hostels, of course, over 2 months of road tripping. But in Johannesburg in particular, the woman had a house and then a pool house, like a guest house. I stayed there. I would have lived there. It was walking distance to the metro. I can't remember what they called it. Walking distance to the metro, walking distance to Maboneng, whatever, the mall. I was like, I don't want to leave here. I don't want to leave. Yeah, wonderful experience. No, you're saying, Kat's saying the rest of Africa is dirt cheap. Child, no, it's not. No, it's not. I don't know what you call dirt cheap. No, indeed. Nigeria is expensive. These people are talking about going to Nigeria. Nigeria is an expensive place. Look it up. It's not cheap. No, it's not. Maybe Kenya, right? Nikki Faye, the Wanderer, lives in Kenya, and it's inexpensive. She says it's inexpensive there. But no, just look for accommodation. It's not cheap. Not like what I'm paying. I could not live on $1,200 a month in Africa. I don't think anywhere in Africa. Yeah. Yes, in South Africa. So people do want. So yes, there are places where you would become a target in any country. There are places where they look at you, American, US dollars, target. There are places where you're going to have to stay away. Absolutely. Anywhere, even as wonderful as people in Mexico have been to me, there are places where I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't go. I don't want to bother these people. I'm not going in there waving around my US dollars. Yeah. I think that's everywhere. Every neighborhood, even Wilmington, Delaware has neighborhoods that I don't go to. One time my mom was like, drive me to church. Once I realized where we were going, I was like, lady, I don't go to this neighborhood. What are you doing? And you want me to come and pick you up it was the evening service. You want me to come and pick you up after dark? No, I don't go on the east side. No, I don't. Yeah, any place you go is going to have those places. I think maybe not Singapore. Justice says if you include some volunteer work, your flight might be tax deductible. We're not giving tax advice on this channel. I want y'all to know that was from Justice. That was not from Stephanie Perry. Yeah, Kat says great suggestion. All right. We're not giving tax advice over here. Okay. Anything? So are we done with house sitting? No more house sitting questions? I do. Jessica Lois Turner. I like Nomad List. Nomad List is where I go, where people tell me what their internet speed is. Okay. If you're talking to an Airbnb host or whatever, or a house sitting client before you get there, and you want them to test the internet speed, that's speedtest.net. Sometimes on Airbnb, especially now that people are working remotely, sometimes on Airbnb, they'll actually take a screenshot of the speed test for that particular property. So speedtest.net to find out what the internet speed is if you're talking to a person in that location, like a house sitting client or an Airbnb host. Or Nomad List is where people report what internet speeds are for their city. It's really helpful. And then remember, if you're going to be technically in the city, but like out of town, it might be different. So like in Guadalajara, super fast internet. I want to say, 30, 40, 50 megabytes per second, upload and download. But if you get out of Guadalajara by, 15 minutes, you're going to see a difference. All right. US degrees. All right. Is it really? Oh, I haven't talked to my mom at all this week, so I didn't know that the weather had dipped down. Dover, 50 degrees, man. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Spring it's May. What in the world? What's going on? All right, hi Patricia, when you're house sitting, how much approximately is your medical and dental insurance if you have to get some treatment? Now, because I'm not a resident of Mexico, I'm not a permanent resident down here, I have only insurance through World Nomads, which covers me for things like hospitalization or medical evacuation. So I'm not covered for like medical and dental stuff. All of that is out of pocket. Now, Patricia, you're going to be blown away by how low the prices are. If I needed to come here to the dentist for something, the prices are super low. Tiffany on YouTube, who is Tiffany Hurd. Where in the herd is Tiffany? On YouTube, she's Where in the Herd is Tiffany. She just got some medical work done in Mexico. She got something done in Tijuana. I would guess Tijuana's prices are a little higher because there are so many Americans just dropping, Tijuana is right on the border. But down here, cheap. Okay, down here, medical, dental, vision, very cheap. I'm supposed to be getting glasses down here. I just don't want to go. I just don't want them breathing in my face. COVID is still a thing. But out-of-pocket expenses for healthcare in Mexico are much cheaper, much cheaper than you would expect. So I pay for that kind of stuff out of pocket. But if you're a resident down here, you can get insurance. If you're a resident, you can get on the national healthcare system. right? Countries have national health care. We forget that. They have national health care. US does not, or you have to be in need to get it. But other countries have a national health care system. Okay, so if you're a permanent resident of Mexico, you can get on the national health care system and you can get private health insurance. Okay, which will be a lot less expensive than what private health insurance costs in the US, especially for somebody who's not employed, whose employer is not paying the bulk of it. We're talking $100 a month, easy. $1,200 a year for private health insurance. Okay, but all that being said, most of that stuff you're going to pay for out of pocket. Most of that stuff you're going to pay for out of pocket. I think I was expecting to pay like $70 for some glasses with the eye exam and the glasses and the lenses. We're talking, what, $400 in the US? Oh, is that why the weather's so weird, Amelia? Says climate change. Crazy. This is not a dress rehearsal. I say that a lot. I need a t-shirt. I need to make that. I have some t-shirts on the merch channel down the merch shelf below. I need to make that a t-shirt. This is not a dress rehearsal. We live so much of our life as though we're going to get another chance. I don't know if we get another chance, right? I don't know. As far as I know, this is it. At least this is it as Stephanie Perry. If we do get another chance, right? The Hindus say we get another chance. I don't know. I'm gonna live like I don't. I'm gonna live like this is the show. This is not the dress rehearsal. This is the show. My insurance sorry, I'm not gonna get that right. So I'm just gonna say hi. Good morning. Yes, my insurance does cover my devices. I didn't know that. So when I drowned my phone in the Philippines, I bought a new phone and didn't send in the info for the rebate in time because I didn't know. But yes, it covers my devices. Mine is through World Nomads, but there are several insurance carriers for people like us, people who either are traveling long term or are traveling in general. Let me get you I'm going to link to the Work From Anywhere toolkit, which has links to a couple of insurance providers. Safety Wing, World Nomads, Alliance are probably the most popular. There's a site on the toolkit. There's a link to a site where you can compare travel insurance. What you want to be covered for is medical evacuation, right? If you need to be medically evacuated or hospitalized. In a lot of the world, you're going to cover other stuff out of pocket. In the Philippines, I tell you all this all the time. In the Philippines, I contracted leishmaniasis, which is a tropical disease. It's gross. Don't Google it. I got bitten by some things, and I got like 8 or 10 little spots on my legs, like some between the size of a nickel or a quarter, and they were infected and they were gross. I went to the hospital in the Philippines. I went to the emergency room. She treated me. She gave me antibiotics on the spot and antibiotics to take home. She gave me Prilosec in case the antibiotics upset my stomach, and she gave me some Benadryl. $32 or $34 total for the whole bill. $34 out of pocket at a private hospital emergency room in the Philippines. A broken bone in Thailand costs $180. If you break your arm on a moped in Thailand and you go in and you have to get your arm set and cast and whatever, $180. Yeah, $180 US for a broken bone in Thailand. Yeah. So healthcare in a lot of the world is not priced to keep you hurt. In the US, healthcare is priced so that you can't access it. In a lot of the world, healthcare is priced for you to be able to access it. Even if now maybe the average person here is not accessing healthcare as easily. So I don't know. Maybe I need a better way to say it. But it's better. It's much easier to go someplace and just pay out of pocket for stuff. But watch Tiffany's video about her medical tourism excursion down to Tijuana, where she got some dental work done. I know, B. Butler, $3,400 in the U.S. for emergency visit. I mean, I can't imagine if, for example, I had contracted the exact same thing in the U.S., I would never have gone to the doctor for it. I don't think. I mean, not to the emergency room for it. If I had, I'm on the VA healthcare system, so I would have gone there. But I would never have gone to the ER for something like that. In the U.S., you can't get in the door for $34. Yeah. So hopefully, if you think that healthcare costs are a reason to not go to another country, right? Healthcare costs are a reason to stay in a job that you don't care for or stay in a country you don't care for. Look it up. Like look up what healthcare costs, right? I'm a person who travels on $1,200 a month. I'm a person who is super cheap and doesn't pay for a place to stay. And I am a person who is planning to go to Poland to get some cosmetic work done because stuff is so cheap in other parts of the world. I'm not planning as in I have an appointment or anything, but I'm planning as in dreaming to get some eyelid surgery done in Thailand so that I can look younger again. Don't do that on the camera. That's gross. Yes, right? Because healthcare and stuff is much cheaper in a lot of the world. Hi Donna. Happy Mother's Day to everyone for tomorrow in advance. That's right. That's right. So and so. Yeah. So you're right. So that's when I said, yeah, I don't know that a Mexican person here is accessing healthcare very easily. But again, they have the national system. Right. So maybe they are. Because there's national healthcare in Mexico. So you're right to say that paying that bill out of pocket for me is easy because I have US dollars. I earn money in US dollars. Yes. So yes to that. But then again, they do have a national health care system. They have national health care where people don't have to pay out of pocket for certain things. I don't know what's covered. Good. I did that, Naja. I did 12 countries in 12 months. Best idea. Best idea I've ever had. It did change me. I didn't do it to change, but it did change me. Best idea ever. All right. Okay. Yeah, there's a free healthcare. Not something. I know. I see it. I see at like billboards and stuff. So there is a national healthcare, like a free healthcare system, or I don't know that it's free, but there may be a copay. But there is a national healthcare, like universal, a form of universal healthcare, what we would call universal healthcare. So there's a national healthcare system, and then they have private insurance that you can get on top of that. All right. Okay. We need somebody to do this for us. So this is not something I can do. I don't have the info on medical tourism. I can point you to other people though. So I told you about Tiffany and the dental tourism. Yeah, so there are just places that specialize in certain things, right? Like they call it the Brazilian butt lift because Brazil has said we specialize in this form of cosmetic surgery. I just happened to stumble across Poland as a place for a lot of surgeries like that. Um, yeah, but I don't know like how to find who does what specifically. But I do know that Poland is very popular for different things. For anything. Poland is a medical tourism destination. Popular medical tourism destination. My straw is stuck in my cup. I can't get my water. Let's see. Mm, Fixed it. I know there's nothing wrong with them. I have eyelids just like my mom. I just want to look younger. This is a struggle that I'm having. All right. Some people struggle with some stuff. Some people struggle with, I must have a certain job to feel good about myself. Right. That's a struggle I've never had. I happen to have the I want to look younger than I am struggle. Maybe one day I will be delivered from that struggle. But for now, I'm planning on getting eyelid surgery. Yeah, look around. Look around. My mom got not braces, but my mom got partial denture down here in Lake Chapala, Mexico, for a good price. Yeah, look around. Add me to the eyelid lift group. Okay. Y'all are acting up now. It's time to go. It's time to go. If we do have a group though, Mo, add me as well. Let me know when you're going to do your islands. Okay, I want to do it too. I'm a nurse. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. All right, I'll keep y'all posted. I need More importantly, I guess, I don't know which one is more importantly. I've had laser vision correction when I was in the Army, and it's over, right? Like my eyes are back to where they were. I had laser vision correction maybe 20 years ago. So I need glasses. I don't want glasses. I'm vain. I've already told you this. Don't be surprised and don't judge me. I'm vain. I'm too vain to wear glasses. So I want to find someone who is a specialist in laser vision correction the second time around, right? So I need that, and I need eyelid surgery, and then I'll be pretty satisfied until they come out with something else that I feel like I need. For non-women, Black Sit. So there are two Black Sit groups. Level Robertson. There are two Black Sit groups. Black Sit Tribe, which is Nikki Faye, the Wanderer, who lives in Kenya, and my friend Nubia, who lives in Tulum, Mexico. Black Sit Tribe and Black Sit Global, who is run by Krishan Wright. Okay, so I would just join both groups. Like seriously, I would just join both. Two Black Sit groups for Black expats ready to leave for Black people ready to exit the U.S. And that's about it. That's all that's popping in my head right now. I'm in a lot of groups, but those are the two that deal with that in particular. So there's a group called Flip the Zip, which talks about moving from expensive cities in the U.S. to less expensive cities in the U.S. But as far as I know, there's no Flip the Zip International, but Black Sit Global, Black Sit Tribe are for U.S. people ready to Black Sit, ready to go. I'm a Cancer, close to Pisces. Cancer and Pisces are friends. We're water signs. We go together. I'm a Cancer. Is that why I'm vain? Yeah, LASIK, it lasted me while it lasted, but when it was over, it was over. My eyes are not good. I really should be wearing glasses, but I just don't want to. I don't want to. Is that okay? I just don't want to wear them. So that's what I would like to do. I would like to look up somebody who specializes in LASIK or I had PRK, but who does laser vision correction for people the second time around. If they say it's not good the second time around, then I have to wear glasses. Crystal says I'm aging backwards. Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, until because you haven't seen me in person. When you walk beside me and you hear my knees cracking every step, then you'll be like, oh yeah, she's 46. Oh, good. I know, Kim. I know. I know. I started wearing glasses when I was like second grade or third grade. I wore glasses until the Army fixed my eyes. I wore glasses for years and years. So it's not like I've never experienced glasses. I just don't want to. Okay? Is that okay? I just don't. I don't have a good, both my parents wear glasses. It's not like, glasses are a foreign concept to me and I'm resistant to it. I'm very familiar with glasses and I'm still resistant to it. I just don't want to. I will get a hearing aid before I will get glasses. I also need a hearing aid. I'm on a little bit of disability from the Army, and I think they'll do my hearing aid for free. So that's one of the things I'm supposed to be doing when I go back home in May. When I go back home this month, I will wear a hearing aid before I wear glasses, because the hearing aid, it's going to be underneath all this, but the glasses are right there. Okay. Now listen, we're not going to talk about house. I think we're done with house sitting. Y'all have been rocking with me for 2.5 hours. I got nothing else to do. So if you want to go, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you go. You have a great morning, and I'll talk to you again next week. But if you want to hang out, we can hang out. So I'm going to answer this question that I just heard about dating, or just read about dating. Hi, Naja. Have you met someone to date abroad? Not this go round. I have done a lot of Tindering on the internet. Or do you Tinder on the internet? I've done a lot of Tindering abroad. Some places are better than others. I have a whole video too, actually. Countries where Black women love and hate dating. And then I have a follow-up. More countries where Black women love and hate dating. So I date men and it's not easy. I need to get off. I need to get off this video because I'm feeling a little bit like oversharing. But I date men. It's not easy. They're the same everywhere. Like really, they are. There are some different affectations, but they're the same. So it's not. I'm not the person who's going to be on here talking about come to Italy. The men are great, and it's the best place, and you'll find what you're looking for. Listen, they still men. I don't have any better advice. Some places it is easier to date than others. Australia was terrible. Australian men very interested in talking to or dating a black woman, right? But you have to do all the work. They're very like passive isn't even the word. They're just lazy. You have to do all the work. Like I don't know. I've been in this town for 2 days. How am I supposed to plan where we're going to go? Just tell me where we're going. The only time in Australia, I was in Australia for a whole summer, or just there winter, a whole summer. And only one, like Tinder popping, like Tinder was off the hook. I only had one person meet up with me. And he was Australian, but he had lived years and years in Japan teaching English. He had lived abroad for many years. And so he knew how to actually like date people. Australian men, I don't know. I don't know how anything works. The women just have to do all of everything, all of it. The women are just in charge. I did notice when I got there that women were kind of bossy. And I think that's why, because the men are just not helpful, not useful. So dating in Australia was not good. Dating in South Africa was really easy, but everybody's going to just be in love immediately. And, it's hard to tell what's like, I don't know. It would be really hard for me to actually date in South Africa because the way they do it is they meet you, they learn your name, then they tell you that they love you and that you're going, you're exactly what I've been looking for my whole life. I'm like, dude, I didn't even tell you my real name. Like, you don't know me. So South Africa was complicated. South Africa, actually, I deleted Tinder. I just removed it from my phone in South Africa because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't. Dating in like France, I've been to Paris. Dating in Paris, you just walk outside. Like you walk outside and men will invite you to have drinks and do dancing. That's the invitation I got. I would like to do dancing with you. Okay. Different places are different. And then some places like in Vietnam, in Southeast Asia in general, most of the dating that I did was with other travelers, other expats, lots of Germans, the people who have a lot of vacation time. Germans have a lot of vacation time and they are okay with like being forward, I guess. Like they don't have, like some, like Canadian men, it's going to take them 10 years to, to talk to you. A German will just be like, oh, you look nice. Can I talk to you? But there's no secret. There's no secret. There's no like secret place. I don't think. If there is, I haven't been there yet. There's no secret place for wonderful dating. Teresa, same experience with South African men. Yes. Child, I had to get rid of this app so what happens is you can match on Tinder, right? And then you start texting back and forth on WhatsApp. So they ruined my WhatsApp. Like I got to change my WhatsApp number, right? I can't. I got all these. I can't have. It's like I'm in love. You are everything. God sent you to me. Like, dude, we talked for 10 minutes. You don't even know my real name. Chill, okay? Chill. So I don't know how. There are women who find success in South Africa, but I don't know how you can sift through all of that. There's an overabundance of attention. All right. Okay. Check my DMs. I will. Well, my DMs are. Don't DM me. Listen, seriously, if you need me, don't DM me. Like, this is why I go live every Saturday. You can ask me your questions and talk to me here. My DMs are a wasteland. A wasteland. All right. Yeah, also the green card thing. I don't know, like in South Africa. So originally I thought maybe it was the green card thing, but I don't think so. I think that's just how they do it. That's just how they do it. That's just how they talk, how they move down there. I don't know. Lazy lions. Okay, so NZ, you say you asked the house sitting question. I'm sorry. If I didn't answer it, ask it again. because you know how the chat is. It's scrolling by. I don't see it. So if you have a house sitting question, ask, because as far as I'm concerned, it's time for foolishness. I don't have anything to do, and the dogs are just chilling, and I have great internet. So if you have a question, ask me, please. Is it the Black Girl Magic? Yeah, I don't know. And I'm tall, so I'm 5'9". I'm tall. They're South African people are not Black South Africans are not tall. So I just stood out, and it was really easy to get a lot of attention from in person and on Tinder. So if you just want to go date, like seriously, some people just don't get a chance to date. If you just want to go date, go to South Africa. Just be careful. Be careful. Because they talk that talk. They be down there talking that talk. Child, it is not fun. I feel like, you know how I always say I feel like a genius for being a house sitter, but I feel like a dum-dum for dating men. Because Lord, they're the worst people. Oh, it's hard. It's embarrassing is what it is. It's embarrassing dating men. They're just, oh. I understand. We in the same boat. I understand. It's embarrassing. Okay. Let's see. You're free to travel. House sitting was awesome. Oh, you did? Okay. I started and I got turned down a lot, but after the 10th person, I started to get, okay, so I'm gonna assume you started to get yeses. Yeah. So house sitting, when you don't have reviews, you have to be willing to get some no's. I think that's something I don't talk about at all enough. Even I get no's. I have like at least 30 5-star reviews on Trusted House Sitters. I still get no's. You know, sometimes they just want somebody different. They want somebody who's already in town. Sometimes they just took the first person. I get that sometimes. Oh, I wish I had read yours sooner. You sound like such a great person. You know, you sound so, because I talk about how I like animals. I like, I'm going to cuddle with your cat. We are going to cuddle. We're going to be friends. Yes, but you get no's. Yeah, so don't feel like somebody didn't take you and so house sitting is not going to work for you. It's like everything else. You got to get some traction. Get some traction. It's a disadvantage. Being attracted to men is such a disadvantage. It is. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. They be out here just embarrassing women, embarrassing their women. I read a post just the other day. He was trying to praise his fiance about how wonderful she was. The only good things he could name about her were things that she had done for him. She bought him a computer. She paid for his car payment. Right. Like, do you even like her? Right? Can you name a good thing about her? Do you know her? Do you like her? I saw that thumbs down. Somebody just left a dislike on the channel. That happens. Yeah, like, do you even like her? Like, come on, yo. Wait, what are we missing? Somebody just mentioned something about Ireland. So, Ireland is congratulations. So I have an alert set right now for Ireland, and it's spring, so it's too late now. I have an alert set for all spring for Ireland. Wonderful. Congratulations. Ireland is a dream spot of mine. I hope to get to Ireland sometime soon. Soon. Yes, a beautiful place, and very nice people, very good people. Like, if anybody's raising their eyebrows at that, don't confuse Irish people with Irish Americans. Okay, Irish people are wonderful people, and I would love to do a nice road trip around Ireland like I have done in South Africa. Well, somebody make a group then. Annabella, somebody make a group. Mo, do you want to make a group? If you make a group and you tell me the name of the group, I will share the name of the group. Okay. If you want to make a group on cosmetic surgery for Black women, I don't know, you can make it for whomever you want. Cosmetic surgery, medical tourism. If you want to make a group, make a group. Somebody do it and then tell us the name of the group. Congratulations on that house sit. That's wonderful. September. Okay, wonderful. Yes, please keep us posted. Please keep us posted. Yes, I have an alert right now for Ireland for house sits. DC Kitty, that's a good question. So I did not look that up. I set an alert for house sits in Ireland without looking up if they were letting us in. Because I assumed, because there's a bunch of countries that will let us in starting the middle of this month. There's like a change happening in May something. And Ireland was one of the last countries to not let us in. So for a long time when COVID was raging, I guess it's still raging, but for a long time, Ireland still would let us in as long as we were willing to quarantine. And house sitting is quarantine friendly, so I felt like they were gonna welcome me. But I didn't look it up. Honestly, I didn't look it up. But some changes are happening. I think May 17th, a bunch of countries are going to start changing and let you in with a test or a vaccine. I am. Nigel, am I open to dating non-black men? Absolutely. I've dated non-black men. My Tindering has been I can't think of a word. I don't know. I don't know if my mom's still watching. I have definitely dated non-black men as well as black men. So after about age 36 or so, I became invisible to American black men. Really, like literally invisible. So it's been a long time since I've had dated a black man in the U.S. So that's what it is. So yeah, I'm open to it. So really, like my criteria is taller than me, and even if he's not necessarily into travel, like if he doesn't want to be a person who travels long term, right? That's fine, but just not in a cold place. If he's like, listen, we can travel for a couple of months out of the year, but we need a home base. I'm not going to be down with somebody whose home base is in a cold place. Adelia's talking about going to some Scandinavian country. I understand the sentiment because they're tall. Scandinavian men are tall. Scandinavian people are tall. I understand the sentiment, but I'd be terrified that he'd be like, okay, now this is our home base. And I'd be like, nah. I live in Portugal, dude. You stay here if you want to. Really, though, like, I don't have a whole lot of, requirement. Just taller than me. I'm 5'9". Just be taller than me. 5'9" American inches or taller. Yeah, they're the same. They're the same. I understand that women have different experiences with men when you go to different countries. Some places I'm exotic. Here in Mexico, I'm exotic. Some places I'm exotic and, but when you get down to it, they're still men. So you might get more attention in different places. You will get more attention in different places, but they still men. Married black American men love those of us without kids. Yeah, they do. Okay, Sheila, you can have them. You can have them. Yeah, they're tall people. Starting in the Netherlands and then like Norway, Denmark, Sweden. I think the Danish people are the tallest people in the world. So, like seriously, if that's important to you, check them out. See what they have to offer. See what they have to offer. Yeah. And then we already heard that men in Turkey are tall. I know that from like Turkish soap operas. For some reason, every now and then, I end up watching Turkish stuff on YouTube. On Netflix, and they just seem like tall people, tall men. Yeah, I haven't had much of a problem being considered exotic as long as, well, it depends. It depends. There's a difference between, oh, there's a black woman, and like whatever. Yeah, like if you're buying me drinks, whatever, I don't care. I am exotic. Buy me drinks. I went to Querétaro, the city of Querétaro, for the first time just a couple weeks ago. And I said to Rashida, I was like, I'm going to Querétaro. I'm going to go out so I can get some free drinks. Don't you know I had to buy my own drinks and my own meal? There was a soccer thing happening, soccer game on the big screens at the restaurant. It was a restaurant with like an outdoor patio. It was Hooters and Chili's. That's what it was, right? Hooters and Chili's right next door to each other. Outdoor patio seating with big TVs. Lots of men out there. My hair looked good. I looked really good that day. And I was like, let me go get me some free drinks. Don't you know? Not one free drink. Nobody bought me any free drinks. I was like, can't they tell I'm exotic? I think the TVs were too big. They were too busy watching TV. Yeah, but okay. So attention is different in different parts of the world. Different men will pay you attention when you go. So I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm just saying that they're still men. Yeah, they're still men. Sheila, you going everywhere, girl. All right. Let's see. No, so this Hooters, I don't think they wore that kind of outfit. This is Mexico. I don't think they wore that kind of outfit. Actually, you know what? I can't even picture the waitresses. I sat at Chili's. I don't think they wore that skimpy Hooter stuff. I don't think they did. I don't know if I should put this on the screen or not. I'm not reading that out loud. It's time to go. It's time to go. I need to end this now. So, just like that men do sex tourism, women do too, right? And Kenya is definitely a sex tourism spot for women. And men like Thailand, like there's no shame. There's no shame in what's going on in Thailand. Thailand is more, it's worse than it's not regular sex tourism. Sometimes some of that stuff in Thailand is wrong, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Just like men talk about, oh, I went to Brazil, and the women loved me there. There are places where we go and where men will shower us with attention, or where we can be the people showering the local people with attention. And Kenya is one of those places. Icelandic and Danish are more outgoing. This is Nubianette. Okay. Icelandic. I don't know that I've ever talked to a person from Iceland. Ever. Never. Which is it's kind of a surprise. Okay. Yeah, Danish. So I when I stayed in Chiang Mai, Thailand for the month for no, it wasn't. Vietnam. I stayed in Hoi An, Vietnam for a month for $180. And my next door neighbor, his name was like Julian or something. He was from Denmark. Very tall. He was a young dude. Very tall, very friendly guy. He had a great time there. Like he partied there with local Vietnamese people. I don't know if they understood. Well, Danish people kind of sound American. They don't have like a European accent, to their English. So I guess they understood what he was saying. So Julian lived his life. He's the only I think he's probably the only Danish person that I could say I sat and had a conversation with. But he seemed awesome. And I know that they sound American, so it would be easy to communicate with them. It's like there's no accent barrier. Some men, you're like, I don't know. Can I understand what you're saying? Do I need to understand what you're saying? I don't know. Girl, I was like, what is going on here? I am buying my own drinks. That's not the norm. That's not the norm out here. Okay, Yoga Bliss Dance. Male attention in Italy was wonderful. It felt very different. Men look at you. I was ushered to the front of the line in Italy, literally. Yeah, there's a whole tour company based on Black women from the U.S. going to Italy. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. I want to say the woman's name is Felice something, but I could be just making that up. There's a whole tour company on it, right? I'm not saying that it's not legit. It's legit. I'm just saying that they still men. But yes. We are exotic. There are places where we are exotic. Absolutely. There are places where we would be get attention that we don't get in other places. Absolutely. Okay. Me too. Me too. I think I can see my future a little bit, and my future is with a man, with an Irish man. Yep. That is it. How do I handle healthcare? Hi, Printa. Printa's going to get us back on track. I pay out of pocket for most things. in a lot of the world, healthcare is super inexpensive. So I'm talking super inexpensive. I don't have any chronic conditions that I need like medication for or regular treatment for. And so if I have to go to the doctor, I pay out of pocket. And it's super inexpensive. I can't stress that enough to you. So if you're used to US prices, and you think that it's going to be like that everywhere, it's not. You can likely cover stuff out of pocket if you don't need like continual care for some kind of chronic condition. And then in the US, when I go to the US, and then I have insurance to cover me for the event of hospitalization or medical evacuation. I have a specific insurance through World Nomads that covers me for that. I have a video on insurance here on my channel. I have a video that covers me for the catastrophic stuff that I wouldn't be able to cover out of pocket. And then in the US, it's actually more risky for me to be in the US because in the US I'm only covered through the VA. I can only get access to VA healthcare. Whereas out of the country, if I need healthcare, I just pay for it out of pocket. In the US, I could never pay out of pocket. In Brazil, it costs $2,000 to have a baby. Can you imagine having a baby in the US and coming home with a $2,000 medical bill? I would have 8 kids. Can you imagine? In Brazil, it costs $2,000 to have a baby, and your child gets Brazilian citizenship. Okay, so I just got an alert. I have a thing at 12. I have a thing in 9 minutes. So we're going to shut this down. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments and not saying anything. Is mobile pet grooming a thing in Portugal? I don't know. Because, Vicky, you're asking this because you want to be a pet groomer or because you want your pet groomed by a mobile? I don't know. I don't know. You're going to need to get in some expat groups for Portugal or whatever, pet groups for Portugal, for your cities, for Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra, wherever you want to go, and find out. And report back to us, please. All right, so Jules is the Icelandic woman, the black woman who is married to an Icelandic man. If y'all want to check out her YouTube channel, Jules, Jules. Thanks for sharing that, y'all. Imani! So congratulations. Imani has some wonderful news that I'm not going to share because she's using her real name here. Congratulations. I saw your message this morning while I was getting myself together, and I said I'm going to message you after I have some after I had a minute because I was like rush. But congratulations, that's wonderful news. Okay. I'm so excited. Yeah, I think my future is in Ireland. I've said that before. My future is in Ireland. So don't be mad at me when I get there and then I come back with a different last name. Whatever there. I don't even know any Irish last names. McGonagall. I don't know. All right. House sits in South America. Honestly, through trusted house sitters, I don't know that I see house sits in South America. Central America, like Panama, Costa Rica, with a lot of American and Canadian expats, yes. Honestly, I don't know. So Simona, you're going to need to look around, just seriously, look on the site, look on Trusted House Sitters and see, and then look on House Carers and Mind My House as well. This might be a result of just them, different regions preferring a different site for house sitting. Because honestly, I can't say that I see like Brazil or wherever else it would be, Ecuador, Argentina. I can't say that I see them, but I definitely see Central America. So check out all 3 sites. You might find that one of them has more South America centric house sits. So check out House Carers and Mind My House as well. Trusted House Sitters, House Carers, and Mind My House. Also, there are country specific house sitting sites. There is a site called House Sit in Mexico. I'm not a, I have not joined a country specific site because I want to be able to bop around. But you may find that there might be some sort of house sit in Brazil site that is better to join. Like if you want to go to Brazil and house sit. But that, yeah, so this, for that, you're going to need to search around. Trusted house sitters and the others are best in the places that I named: Australia, Europe, all of Europe, especially the UK, the US, Canada, Mexico, Central America. But if you want to go to a different, if you want to house it in Africa, you want to house it in South America. Well, actually, trusted house sitters is good in parts of Asia as well. But yeah, but if you want to house it someplace and you're not seeing any of these house sits on these sites, look for a country specific site. I just saw a really awesome Dubai house sit, but it's all summer, which is pretty normal in Dubai. The people who live there want to be gone for the summer. There are teachers and stuff and expats in Dubai, and they want to be gone for the summer, and they bring in a house sitter for the whole summer. But they're like, nice sky-rise condos and stuff. So you do see those on Trusted House Sitters. Anyway, I just skipped over to Dubai from all of this. All right. Okay. Thanks, friend. Thanks, friend, so much for sharing. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your live help. Thanks for helping each other. I have to go. I have a thing in a couple of minutes. You have a fantabulous day. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll be back again next Saturday. Hopefully next Saturday I will have more information on that sabbatical space. Okay, I'll check. Hopefully I will have more information on that sabbatical space and we can talk in depth about that next Saturday. Again, 10 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be here with my good internet. So if you come late, I'll probably still be here. Okay, New Viennette. Okay, I will take that. Okay, so I need to go to Ireland and look for someone named O'Connor. All right. MacLeod is the largest clan. Okay. All right. Thanks for that good info on Ireland. I really do hope I can get there sometime soon. My original plan was to get there this year. But I don't really know about that COVID situation. But we are doing Turkey next spring. Maybe I can, after Turkey, maybe Ireland. Okay. Okay, I'm looking through my last thing. Next Saturday is my breakthrough day. Great. So I just posted my video yesterday updating you guys on my breakthrough day, which was Tuesday, where I worked on getting a personal life, where I worked on starting running again and doing some weaving again. So I just posted an update video on that. So good. DC Kitty, keep us posted. I'm glad. Next Saturday. Okay, so if we don't see you here next Saturday, we'll know what you're doing. All right. Bye. Okay. Thanks, friends. Thanks so much for hanging in here with me. Thanks for that super chat. Thank you so much for slipping that in there. And we will see you again next week. Okay. Bye, friends. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day. Bye.